Hello, welcome to the channel. My name is Karsh Goblin. This is GoblinCaveTV, and we are back for our 40th episode of Saints and Sinners Descent into Avernus, where we've just gotten out of a 5D dungeon out of the mind of Lorian Ross. So that's been fun.
It's been
Hi,
great.
everybody.
Hi.
Oh,
Guess
hello.
who's not dead?
Oh, death.
So
That was a fun episode.
And just a reminder, Emi wasn't here because of work reasons, not because her character was dead.
Yeah.
I like to
it was
believe
because
it.
of
It just
work
lined up.
reasons.
It worked out pretty well.
It did actually. Yeah.
Pretty perfectly.
To add to that, we didn't kill Emi's character because she was going to have a week off from work. That also didn't happen. So I just wanted to put that out there too. So
We were torn around with the idea of replacing the video just for that one episode to remove a character.
I think it
Oh,
would have
that
been
would be-
funny. If you just
Yep.
pretended I didn't exist.
Okay.
There's a tombstone there.
Oh, we should have done that. Oh.
Next time, Gadget.
Oh, that'd be funny.
I think I had the death shroud over your character area, but either way. So we're back. Can we get the Saints and Sinners, the Descent into Avernus sound thingy, grim death music?
Yeah,
Yes.
sure.
I
thought we didn't play it for the.
Yeah, I can turn it down.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Remember, I can do that myself. Yes. So we're using we're using Syrinscape for the audio because I really enjoy Syrinscape. They've got a specific Baldur's Gate Descent into Avernus soundtrack, which I love, which we had for the intros and whatnot as well. Lorian, are we going to be using other bits and pieces like Battle Bards today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, just wanted to make sure.
But you Yeah, no, I don't think we will.
Okay, and he's on the overlay.
Should I
'cause
still
don't
run the
know.
ad? Should I still run the ad? I think we should still run the ad.
Run the ad. You do the ad because I don't know it.
Yeah, why not? Why not? While I just pull up the info, because I've been floundering trying to get some stuff ready as per usual. I'm a last minute lazy GM. So it'd be in pinned messages. Where is it?
Okay, so other things
Okay.
while that's going on, you can also donate to the channel. Every $1 donation or per 100 bits gives us the dice to add to our rolls for attack rolls, saving throws, and skill checks. Nuance one of them. Yeah, so the dice increases from D4, D6, D8, D10, D12, and there's generally only one in play. That's pretty much it for the for that side of thing. It's not actually linked to the overlay yet. The overlay's a lot more complex than the other one. This is a brand new overlay for us. It's based off MrLiveProducer's amazing work from our Call of Cthulhu overlay. I just wanted to point that out because it's really amazing work what he's done for that overlay. Does anyone do the Battle Bards promotion?
I still haven't found it.
Oh no!
I just realized that I need to
Can't find
update
the
my
agreement.
D&D Beyond character sheet.
I told you that.
No, you didn't.
I did.
You said
We
you said
did.
roll 20.
Yep,
you
I
didn't
found
do
it.
It
Found
was in the Discord, Emmy.
Oh, well, I don't pay attention to Discord
And in the pre-show.
because I have something. I don't know. No
A
attention.
job?
I have no attention span.
That's cutting really deep.
Well,
Did
I found the ad if you want me to
this
Do you
I
ad?
should run it. Okay. So we have entered a partnership deal with BattleBards. Their web address is battlebards.com, and if you sign up to them using our coupon code, which is oh no, I've forgotten that as well.
It's GoblinCaveTV, capital G,
It is,
capital C, capital TV.
Thank you, Del. My mind is a messy haze at the moment. But yes, follow that affiliate link and use that code, and you'll get a discount on their memberships and things you can sign up for. You get access, which will give you access to their tools, their soundboard mixer, and their webcaster. You can discount on their purchases, about up to 20%. You can upload and mix your private audio libraries as well and broadcast them to your friends. And everyone who signs up using our code gives us, we get benefits as well. So go check them out, battlebards.com. I will get that professionally prepared in the future.
Yeah. And I'll get that into the bot, because I typed in battle bards, and the bot didn't trigger because apparently it's not in the bot under those three names.
It's actually a auto-generated message. I had the same problem with my seizure warning for my stream.
But I've put it into it. I've got it there. I'm pretty sure, but
is it capital B on battle?
I don't know what it is, but either way, it's something. We have it in a bot somewhere.
You might want to check.
But we're live. We're live. We'll focus on being live, shall we? So we'll do our intros. Just because Emi's doing her stuff on D&D Beyond. By the way, you can, when you're watching live, you can click on that D&D Beyond on the screen there, and you can see our characters. Awesome. So you can see kind of what we're playing, who we're playing, and some of the skill sets. It doesn't have the full unlocked character sheet, but it has enough there. So Del, because you have done your D&D Beyond and you have leveled up, would you like to do your intro, please?
Oh! Hi everyone, I'm Del. I'm playing Reservoir, the Water Genasi sorcerer, now at level 10, with a full 74 hit points. Only thanks to a ridiculously high constitution compared to all the other characters I've ever played. Yeah. I'm, it's okay. None of us are dead. We're not, actively in the sweltering heat of Avernus. We're in a comfy tower. This is the best we've been in a while. It's still traumatic, but we're doing okay.
And air conditioning, awesome.
Yeah, air conditioning is never something to complain about when you are a water genasi in hell.
The opposite side of that, Will.
Hey everybody, I'm Will. I play Ashe the Fire Johnson Artificer. Yes, it is currently nice and toasty near the tower, and not sweltering, blistering hot, or sweltering, blistering cold. But yeah, last week was an emotional roller coaster, and this week may be another one. But we have to see what happens. But we're level 10 now, so we're at least halfway there to becoming world-ending monsters. So yeah, we're almost there. I mean, gods, sorry. But yeah, so hopefully today is a good day. Benevolent gods, yes. But yeah, hopefully today we can do a lot of good stuff, and hope you guys enjoy. So yeah.
I'm good with either. If you followed all 40 episodes of this campaign, you might have seen my character's either or mindset, even though he's a paladin. Hi, my name is Karsh Goblin. I play a very down and out soldier who's coming back to his paladinhood and coming back to the faith. Which faith that is, well, you'll have to see. But we've had a couple of how can you put this, religious moments recently. So who knows?
Who would think we're in hell and having religious moments?
Well, we had a crying angel.
Are they the right religious moments? Is the real question.
We had a goddess like say that I owe you one. I mean, those are religious. These are key religious moments.
Let's not call that one in.
No, never call that one in.
Who knows?
Never call that one in. Never.
MLP.
Hi, I'm MrLiveProducer. I'll be playing your Dwarven Barbarian Ranger Burlock Unguard, who did not hit level, because I'm multi-class, so I'm level 8 Barbarian now, which means I got to skill up. So my armor class goes from 16 to 17. So that makes me actually rather very happy. It's like, oh, wait, have you harder to hit this time?
It doesn't feel like much coming from Pathfinder, but remember banded accuracy.
Wait, my AC is better than yours.
My AC for the entire campaign up to this moment was 16. But I'm a tanky boy.
13.
Yes,
Mine's
sorcerer,
18.
wild magic,
I need to up my
pot
wisdom.
plant.
And Emi.
Hi, I'm Emi Rabbit, but you guys can call me Emi, and I play Ava, the human monk. And yeah, I was dead.
And your character was too.
That's what I was talking about. But yeah, I was dead emotionally as well. But yeah. Can I roll my hit points?
That was something we were going to do because we always roll live hit points just because it's more stressful.
6.
All 6.
So that's
Straight down the middle.
yeah. So another 6. Del, how many hit points did you say you had?
74.
I have 71.
Oh, yes.
And you're a frontline fighter. Oh, joy.
But I have an AC 18, so that's my
Yeah,
AC
and my
is.
my constitution is a +3 modifier. I put points into con.
So, yay. Fantastic. Well, there was something else I wanted to go through, but I've totally forgotten. Oh, that's right. Also, if you do redeem, and if you do redeem or subscribe, follow, etc., or donate, of course, this happens.
Oh, I just want to see this.
There we go.
Oh wait.
So you got flashy flashies.
I want to press play so I can
It's
see.
going to be a couple seconds for us to see it. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a delay.
Yeah.
Well, you're gonna have.
Oh, okay. That's cute.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
So as a little bit of an incentive to do those
Fancy.
donations and etc. So
That's real fancy.
it's
I
something I've
like
been working on all week for this, not just for this, but all the shows. Every show is going to have a different surprise, I should say. But I think we're going to go over to Lorian over that side, apparently.
Yes.
I need to
Aye.
flip my camera.
I, Lorian, your haggard GM, who has, in the middle of a UK heatwave, which I would usually love if buildings were built for extremely hot weather. Instead, they're built to keep the heat in, and I'm sweltering at the moment. So, if I pass out halfway through, feel free to just end the stream. We can call it. It's not that bad. But I can't have the windows open because otherwise insects will swarm me. So, I am going to be very much in the mood to go back from my cold, dark temple into the blazing heat of Avernus as the GM. So, if we're all ready... Is there something?
Just a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Monta, for the donation of $25.
Oh!
Yo!
Wow.
Oh.
Thank
I
you.
don't think the
Thank
flashing
you.
worked, so I've got to look into that. But holy shit.
Oh, because it was a direct donation. You need to hook up a stream elements thing.
It is hooked up. That's the issue. That's why I'm saying it's the issue. But thank you so much. So let's just say D12 goes to somebody. So Monta, nominate someone, and that person will get a D12 for like rerolls
Like
or
Bardic
etc.
Inspiration.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a cool person.
Thank you.
Back to Lorian.
That was it. I had pretty much finished. So, if we're all ready, let's dive into our 40th
I'm in.
episode of Descent into Avernus. When last we left the party, Ashe the Genasi Artificer, Ava the Human Monk, Burlock the Dwarf Barbarian, Reservoir the Genasi Artificer, and Warwick the Human
Sorcerer.
Paladin. The party, having successfully vanquished the Penteract and rescued / defeated the possessed Archmage, felt their victory a somewhat Pyrrhic one, as their ally and longtime friend Ava was slain in battle. Taking her back to the Tower of where Mordenkainen makes his residence on the plains of Avernus. Lulu, the Hollyphant companion and key figure in this quest to save the city of Elturel, approached Ava's body, and something about this situation triggered a memory of Lulu's, a long distant vision which in her state she broadcast to all of you. And in this, some of her innate magic returned to her, allowing her to start a ritual to resurrect Ava, with the party contributing to draw her spirit back from where it had departed. The resurrection was a success, and the party sighed heavy sighs of relief as Ava drew in breath. In the meantime, while they collect themselves and collect their substantial reward from the Archmage and his assistant, it emerges that a potential group of individuals might be approaching the tower in response to the call of the message left behind by Ishtara calling for help, and serendipitously includes an individual who had already arrived, a man by the name of Alexandru, claiming to be from Candlekeep, who has relevant updates and information pertaining to the Avernon quest. As all of you collect yourselves and take the time to decompress, we start as Ava, your eyes kind of flicker open. You're sitting kind of slumped over a chair in a dark antechamber. There is a small window up behind you which casts a reddish glow around the room from the landscape outside. Your eyes are blurry and you feel sore and weak as anything. But curled up in your lap, you look down and you see Lulu, currently asleep, resting on your legs. What do you do?
Start petting Lulu. What do I remember?
From the time before from the encounter, or from in between?
In between.
It was grey. You're sure of that? You remembered this feeling of this endless expanse of grey, a kind of misty place where in the distance there were shining lights of different colours. You remember walking forward, and then there was this red crimson portal which you walked through and left behind. And you kind of remember feeling some direction calling towards you. And it was at that point where something else called in return. Familiar voices, friendly voices, beckoning your return. At which point you felt yourself be drawn back through that red portal. And then next thing you remember is waking up.
Okay. So Ava kind of...
But was that a dream? You're not sure.
Takes the time to just pet Lulu and kind of like look around the room and see if anyone else is here.
So, last I remember we left off, Burlock was rummaging through some books and Ashe was tinkering with her new toy, as it were, in that same room. Would you still be there, do you reckon? This is not too far after You haven't.
Oh
had a
yeah,
night's rest
I'll
yet.
still be in there.
Still be
so
in there
you see
too.
Burlock. You see Burlock rummaging through some papers and Ashe. You hear the familiar sounds of metal on metal and tinkering from behind you.
You hear Ava groan. It feels like the worst hangover ever.
Just quickly throw the stuff on the table. Run over towards Ava. Oh, thank God! And I'm going to just hug her.
Oh.
Really hard. Just as if I'm choking her. Just, you do not, please do not do that again. It was stressful for everyone, including me. And just making sure, you okay? Are you alive? Are you good?
I'm alive.
What's your name? Where are you from?
I'm Ava Sturgard from the north. What happened?
By the way, Ava, you feel just awful. It is. Just for the record, you have a -4 penalty to all attack rolls, saving throws, and ability checks.
Ooh.
Currently, that will decrease by 1 every long rest.
Ava's gonna like
As
hug,
you recover from this ordeal.
hug Ashe back to like acknowledge, like, for once Ashe is initiating a hug.
All right, you're good. You're fine. Everything's good. You feeling okay?
Yeah.
Are you?
Are we back in Avernus?
We are back out of that hellhole. Yes, we are. No, back into that hellhole. We're out of the other hellhole that we went into. We're back in the regular, or rather, the status quo. We're back there now.
Okay. Good.
It's good. Just still hugging her. It's like, yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. Oh, that's
sorry.
fine.
Sorry, I didn't mean. Sorry. Sorry. Everything is fine. We've saved Mordenkainen. Everyone's alive. You did good. Just don't do that again. All right. Well, just walk back to my things.
Where's everyone else?
Burlock is just looking at books and just waiting for Ashe to finish and come over and just say, "You worried us, kid."
When don't I worry you?
Well, normally you're not dead. I think that's a first for
What?
you.
You were dead.
You're not there.
How am I not there?
I can just imagine Warwick's voice going, "You are dead." Yeah, you ran in to hit Mordenkainen and he had his magic up and it reflected your attack.
Yeah, I passed out.
No.
I died.
Yes.
Oh.
Lulu saved you.
How do you save someone from death?
That is the eternal question. But there are magics in this world stronger than you and I have ever have access to, which can help a person if they're not too far gone. It's about timing and hope and friends and rituals. And you see Burlock start to cry and just gives Ava a big giant hug.
Ava returns it, like, immediately. I died.
Yeah. Please don't do that again. I can't go through more people being lost.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go anywhere.
What's Warwick and Reservoir up to?
Well, I wouldn't mind
Right.
talking about religion, but Reservoir never wants to do that anymore.
Do you want to have a conversation about religion?
Well, you always just shy away from it these days.
What would you like to talk about, Warwick?
The balance of life and death, and how that now that Ava's brought back, then the balance will need to be restored at some point.
Yes. At the end of her natural life.
But that already happened, so now everything's in unbalance.
I'm sorry, would you say that she had a natural death?
Well, she died naturally, even though it was by someone else's blade, but that's a natural thing.
No, it's not.
Well, I mean, an archmage stabbing in the back is not normal, but it's still naturally death.
It's still death. It's not
Exactly,
natural
death is death.
It is not caused by nature, it was caused by man.
Yes, but nature, man, it's all death.
Look,
The magic that brought back, that's the unnatural part.
it's divine, yes. You're correct in that.
Yes,
But there was power exchanged in order to bring her back.
and that's going to have a consequence.
It did. Those things take belief. They take energy from the caster.
Now, are we talking magic here, or are we talking religion?
Both.
So you need to pick a subject to talk about here.
I don't, though. They're very closely linked. A lot of times arcane casting isn't the only way of casting. You of all people should know that.
Yes, and I'm ashamed that I can still do this, but still. When people are in danger, I will try to keep them alive, but once they're dead, they should be dead.
I understand the thought process behind that.
I carry around a lot of dead.
And I understand that. However, have you considered perhaps that if they were supposed to stay dead, then there wouldn't be a means of bringing them back?
But of the hundreds of people that have died under my command, don't you think I wouldn't have wanted them to come back? There needs to be balance. You can't bring everybody back.
You're right, you can't. Because it does cost power and energy and belief. And we don't have enough to spare for everyone.
So
But this
people aren't
time we
equal.
had enough. But this time we had enough for Ava.
And yet others aren't worth it.
I didn't say that. But perhaps at the time there was not the power and the energy to spare. Warwick, is everyone the same to you? Do you not have people that you love more than others? Or even those that you dislike more than others?
You have seen my collection. My tattoos. Every one of those skulls and crossbones are people that have died under my command. Every one of them.
That's not what I asked.
Except for 3 of them. 3 of them are different. Not many people notice the differences.
Would you like to tell me about the differences?
No. No, I would not.
Well, I'm going to assume that there are people that you either liked more or liked less.
But why
That doesn't-
why are people more deserving than others to come back? There should be just balance.
It's not about deserving. It's not that Ava deserved to come back any more than they would. It's that Ava had people around her who loved her very dearly that had the power and the energy to spare. Not everyone has that power and energy to spare. So, for example, if I didn't know any of you, if I didn't know Lulu, if I was off with some other group and one of them died, I wouldn't have been able to bring them back. It's possible that no one around them would. It's just knowing the right people at the right time. It's luck, yes, but in some ways it's also meant to be. Our lives occur the way they do, and we make ourselves acquainted with the people that we do. And when we do it in the right way, or not even necessarily in the right way, that implies that there's a wrong way. And sometimes when we do it in a certain way, it happens.
But believe me, I have seen necromancers on
out.
the battlefield. There's a wrong way to bring people back.
I didn't mean there's a wrong way. I didn't
Oh no,
mean that.
there is a wrong way to bring people back.
I wasn't talking about bringing people back. I just meant about living our lives, meeting the people that we meet. It's beyond our knowledge. It's beyond our understanding, but all I know is that it is possible, and if it is possible, then there must be a reason for it happening the way it did. And it's not because any one person is better than another. It's not because any one person is more deserving. It's just how the cards fall.
Cards is it now? So you want to talk about fates and balance is what I'm
This
trying
has
to talk
all been about fate and balance.
Then what about Tyche? Tyche split up into Bashaba and Timora. Good luck and bad luck. Balance. The universe requires balance. Bringing people back means that the balance still needs to be restored. Or will be restored, I should say.
What if bringing them back is the act that restores balance? What if bringing Ava back wasn't the unbalancing impact? What if her dying was the unbalancing impact?
You're saying that you're more important than others and you can change the fates of others because of reasons?
That is not what I said at all. You said that balance will need to be restored because Ava coming back wasn't what was fated to be. But what if it was her dying that wasn't fated to be? What if that was the unbalancer? It was a person doing an action. It was Mordenkainen murdering her. How is that any different from Lulu casting a spell to bring her back? How do you know which action was wrong, and why are you so intent on the fact that it was her coming back to us?
Because the actions happened in a sequence. Even in that weird place we were at, where logic didn't really work. But then the actions happened in a sequence. Changing that sequence by bringing back changes everything. So,
but what if bringing her back was a part of that sequence?
Everything.
And you've been second guessing bringing her back this whole time. What if that was a part of the sequence? Why are you denying that it is?
Because the dead need to stay dead.
They don't. That spell is proof of it.
It's an abomination.
It's not.
It's cheating death.
It's a gift.
It's cheating death.
It's a gift. If that was the fate that she was meant to suffer, then she would have. It was not, so she didn't.
We're cheating. And there's going to be ramifications, I'm sure.
Using magic isn't cheating. The gods that grant those abilities are good. So how can using those abilities be bad?
Good and evil is just perception for the most part. We're down here because the person in charge of Baldur's Gate, or one of the people in charge of Baldur's Gate who put ourselves into a position to rule, she thought she was doing the greater good by sacrificing a whole city. I'm here because everyone else is here. And they're here to stop it. So I'm going to be here to support them. But it's all about perspective. The person that signed away your city thought he was doing the greater good by doing so. Good and evil is perspective for the most part.
You're right. It is. It's all perspective. And my perspective is that these things are good. That he was wrong.
And if you're wrong?
If I'm wrong?
If we're part of the bad guys here?
Then someone will try to stop us and they will prevail.
And I walk off.
At this point, you start to hear, as you walk off, you notice Yashtara just kind of sat on one of the chairs, just kind of watching you. He really does sound like Mordenkainen. Balance this, balance that.
Oh, and it's been a while, but thank you, Monta, for the donation as well, which came through from Lorian's introduction. It went from your introduction straight into everything. It's like, but thank you for the $5. Please nominate someone for that donation because it goes to someone. Otherwise, there's a D12 just floating around for someone to use. Thank you so much.
How do you deal with Mordenkainen when he gets like that?
I just amuse myself with the thoughts and the ways that you mortals try and rationalize everything that you can't possibly know. It's very amusing.
Well, I'm glad to amuse.
Of course. You seem to be a studied one, yes?
Yes, I worked with a mage in Elturel before. Everything went to shit.
Interesting.
What?
Come, I have something you might find interesting.
I'll go with her.
I just had the thought as she's kind of starts walking upstairs, hearing that talk of metaphysics and metaphysical aspects of life and death. You might find a certain section of our library to be most interesting. She takes you up, and as she leads you upstairs, Warwick, you've gone upstairs now, and you see Ava has awoken, and now Reservoir, as you walk up, you now both see Ava awake, and the other two crowding around her.
Ava, are you all right?
Yes. Yeah.
Are you feeling healthy? Do you want healing or?
I feel like I have the worst hangover in my life. and I've fought 10 bars. So
11.
yeah, probably more like
That was
11
more.
bars worth
That
of
was
people.
more of a beer
So,
tent.
ooh, so just really tired.
Well, you can always
we're
rest in peace.
resting.
Um,
I think that we've been given permission to rest here for a few moments at least,
oh, okay.
for a little while at least, given all that we've done. And I sort of glance over to Ishtar to confirm.
Of course, it's the least we could offer.
So perhaps a little while of rest. Have you seen, I don't know if the others showed you, as reward for helping with their little problem, we've been gifted a couple items. I think these might be interesting to you, and I'll gesture to the boots set beside her. They can bring you back to safety a little bit easier if you find yourself in a spot of trouble.
Nice. Ava like picks them up. They look comfy.
Magical items often are.
They're magical boots. Magical shoes.
Yes,
Alright.
they sparkle.
Just gesturing to the boots of reversal that we discovered last session.
Ava's gonna like
Since
try
she wasn't there for the whole what does everything do?
Ava's gonna like try and put the boots on while not disturbing. The entire time she's been very careful not to disturb Lulu.
They're 3 sizes too small. They're evil.
Oh, do they fit? They better fit.
But they have no arch support.
It's a
Ava
mimic in
like
disguise.
takes off her previous boots, which are like probably smelly at this point. Because we don't take shoes off very often.
No, hot surface, bony feet.
Yeah, we're kind of in hell.
Yeah. Fresh shoes. Okay.
So what's the plan after this? Or after Ava's had some rest? Any ideas?
Well, Alexander had some information that he wanted to share with both us and Mordenkainen, I believe.
Who's Alexander?
An
Some
individual who responded to Ishtar's call for assistance downstairs. I believe he still is. He said he was from Candlekeep, and
That was the place with the books, right?
Yeah. And the ferret.
Yeah. I remember the ferret. That's where Lulu came from.
He's missing.
What?
The ferret.
That's not good.
He's an archmage. I'm sure that happens all the time.
Well, I
Wasn't
mean,
it-
we
wasn't it an
just
otter?
found one archmage.
Yes, he was an otter.
Oh, yeah, he was an otter.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you met another
No,
talking
he's an otter.
animal. Okay.
So apparently he's missing, so that's a thing.
But anyway, we're hoping that the information might be able to assist us, along with, well, of course, we have the blood that was sought after.
Yeah, we need the blood so that Mordenkainen could help
Scry.
us scry. Because it was payment or something. So we could scry and find the sword. Yes.
That really saw. So we have a couple new leads, hopefully,
Okay.
by the end of this.
And we've always got that favour to call in.
I would prefer not calling in that favor.
Let's just consolidate our strength, yeah? Make sure that we're all good to go before we head out into the world again. So let's Make sure everyone's set up and ready. I was gonna ask, Yashtara,
Yes.
do you have any more scrolls like this one? Just more things for me to study, because
Which,
down here is a lot different
which
things.
one are you referring to?
Just a
Or
few
scrolls
more.
in general?
Just ones with runic carvings and other things of the like, if possible. Maybe some with rituals of some kind.
I'll see what we can provide. Although I think a lot of our more common ones were pilfered by whoever raided this place. But I'll see what we keep upstairs. Speaking of which, anyone who's interested in some reading before bed, feel free to follow.
I'm just gonna lie down and pass out.
Sounds about right.
I'll come along.
It's been a while since I've read, so I'll come along.
Actually, I do
Good.
believe I have a few things to return to you as well that we found in there that we thought might help with
Oh?
locating
What would that
Mordenkainen and yourself. A journal that we found, as well as a couple books. I wouldn't mind reading the books a little bit before giving them back if you would allow me to. But
Of course. Just, if you choose to stay up all night, that's your prerogative. But the books will remain here. But
naturally.
I would ruffle Ava's head a little bit, and walk up and head towards the library. See if there's a picture book for me.
I got in a botany
No.
book.
Hey, you're
No.
smart now. Don't you have a +2 int now?
I do.
Ooh, moving up in the world.
Yeah.
But no, Ava's gonna lie down and I'm gonna technically be attuning to my boots, but I'm gonna be taking a nap.
yeah, that's fine. You can do this part of your long rest. So, Yashtara activates the door that leads further up, and you see now the staircase give way to a much more intricate walls and which spiral upwards. The walls are lined with paintings of great artists of beautiful landscapes in intricate detail, value of which you can only begin to guess. Until one of the landings, there is a door leading into the tower, which she opens. Here you'll find a wider selection of our more esoteric knowledge, and pertaining to what I have learned your quest to be, that section over there, she gestures, has a lot of information about Avernus, Beata, and the history of this place in general, should you find it interesting. I do believe there is a few things on the Hellriders as well.
It's greatly appreciated.
Feel free to peruse at your leisure, but leave everything. Take nothing. We'll know if something's missing.
I wouldn't think of removing anything from this lovely collection.
Is it okay if I just leave a copy? Or
You may make a copy if you have the time, but take nothing.
Okay, just making sure. Just wondering.
Hey, anyone who wants to make an investigation check to see what you find in this place.
Okay.
Let's go!
It is lore dump time.
I will use flash of
Exposition.
I will use my last flash of genius to get 30.
I saw a squirrel. It was doing this.
Yes, Gur.
Okay. So, I will say, Dell, you find, so under player area, there is, will soon be visible a tab called Lore. You'll find certain readings in there. And I will show you what you find based on what you rolled. Karsh, Warwick, you don't find anything.
I saw a squirrel.
Then
Oh, don't you want to give him another botany book?
I mean, it's a case of you're just picking up books, looking at the title, thinking, nah, nothing seems to catch your interest.
You leave a copy of your own book still?
Adds
would
to
just
the-
imagine.
just adds
I
to the
just
collection.
imagine.
So yeah, so Reservoir, you
Signed.
start wait, this was. Oh, that was the wrong one. Hold on.
Oh, I do
Well,
not see it.
I'll let you have it. Whatever, it's fine. That's fine. Mistakes were made, but we'll keep it. And then. Ashe, you find these two. You find two. You find a particularly dark tome with it's got a lot of these are unmarked, but you find one in a particularly sort of almost like a pedestal almost, and that takes your interest as well. And you flick through it, and it's dense writing, but you do find this. And in addition, later on, you find a book, a section on sort of cities of the Sword Coast. And in particular, you scroll through until you find Elturel. Look out, and you find this book.
And just has a listed missing. Relocated.
There you go.
It's like a 4-inch book, and it just has one page that says missing.
Yeah.
I was like,
Have you seen this city?
I was going to say exactly that.
Have you seen? Have you seen the note, like what's written in for Earth for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy? I mean,
why is there milk in this book? There's a carton here.
it just says mostly harmless. That's all it says.
Originally, it was harmless.
Yeah. I updated it.
Mostly harmless.
What did all of you find? Anything useful?
Swear I saw a squirrel.
Perhaps some stuff about interested parties that I'm hesitant to share with Warwick.
Religion.
In some ways. Not related to the manner of our discussion earlier, at the very least.
There is a lot about hell in this library. I was looking for more of things that would be actually useful.
We're
Aren't we
in
in hell?
hell.
I mean,
Wouldn't a guidebook be useful?
it's not really a guidebook. It is a compilation of legends regarding Asmodeus, and why hell even exists in the first place. And then also a big book of the Hell Riders, which probably pertains to us.
Doesn't
At
have
least a little.
pictures.
So, what's the long and short of it? Why does hell exist?
Does it have footnotes?
I mean, it does not have footnotes. Whoever wrote this did not include footnotes. Let's see. Although, let me see.
if it says
It's a weighty
balance,
question. I wasn't actually expecting an answer.
if it says to balance for the heaven, then I'm good.
At the very least, I would want to give you some time to read first.
There are a lot of things.
Yeah, with a 30 as well. So I wanted to do handies out just so you could in character like give each other this information. But there was one thing with the 30 that you would actually read, which I hadn't written down, which is most curious. That there used to be 8 levels of hell, and Avernus was added later. This is what a 30 gets you. And in fact, there was a war fought over the former paradise that was Avernus to either make it the 8th heaven or the 9th hell. And you know which one won.
Looks like this place is relatively new, and being a hellscape, it seems. Ninth heaven or eighth hell.
Which Reservoir subsequently makes addendum 1 in your notes make a bit more sense.
Oh. I'm sorry, I'm having like the same emotional reaction as I did with
Lore
the
dumps.
with the different dimensions. I'm sorry, I get lore and I just get so excited. Okay. Oh.
That's why I specifically made a lore dump section.
She does this for Walls too, just as a heads up.
Oh, I'm half surprised they call it the Dell document.
We love you, Del.
We do.
I mean,
It's that enthusiasm.
I don't know if you guys know this, but like Dell document is the last part of my pseudonym. It's Dell document, so like that's appropriate for more than one reason. Okay. Well, I need to read. Okay.
Okay. While that's being read, so we don't have
Talk amongst
time.
yourselves.
Anything else that's going on?
Well, that's happening.
Anyone else want to talk religion?
Stop trying to pull me back in. Reservoir does, but also reading. Oh.
At this point, Yashtara comes back, and she comes back with a sort of a small case, which she sort of sets on one of the desks, clicks open. Right, here's a collection of things you might find useful.
Who's got alcohol?
A few scrolls.
Oh. You've been around for a while. Is there a way to like create alcohol from spells?
There is, yes. I mean, if I was to be coy, I would say the wish spell, but there are other things that aren't quite
That
so
sounds a bit extreme.
Perhaps for you.
Oh, no, not for me.
The idea of someone
Reservoir.
using wish to bottle a nice vintage.
For Reservoir.
I believe I am not the alcoholic of this group.
Well, no, you're the designated server. You don't want a drunkard.
I'm sorry.
Serving
what?
you at a bar. You want someone that doesn't drink at all, being responsible, and well, that's the way it works.
Right. Well, if I'm the designated server, I believe I will decide to serve you nothing.
Here we go again.
I mean,
I don't think she likes me.
there is one spell. There's one spell scroll in here which might help you. She pulls out one, and gives it a bit of a waggle. Although, maybe not best for trivial usage. This one's quite powerful.
Again.
This will conjure up a feast fit for heroes. Whatever that you desire within it. And she kind of throws it.
Just watch it fall to the ground.
Who is she throwing it at?
She's throwing it to Warwick. Do you catch it or do you just let it fall?
I let it fall. I don't know. I can't even cast spells.
I'll pick it up and hand it back to her.
The deliberate obtuseness does wear thin, I will let you know. Regardless. Feel free to peruse what else is in here at your leisure.
Thank you for everything.
They're yours for the taking. Leave the chest.
Ashe, you were the one that was looking for those, right?
The scrolls, yes. I was looking for things to help us in a coming what's the word? Fight for humanity? Oh,
Death.
yes. Whatever. Something or other. We're going to have to fight later, so something to help us, at least.
It's not just humanity. I mean, all the races and all the bits and pieces are all in this.
Yes. For
Equally.
the greater good. For the greater good. Whatever. Just things to make us more powerful. All right, let me go look at this stores.
Let me know if
Okay.
you find anything interesting. I'm going to turn back to the book.
I am also going to hand the books to Reservoir. Like, these are more up your alley. The Legends of Asmodeus and the Hell Riders. So
Yeah, I'll just
Okay.
put them
Yeah,
in my
I'll-
pile.
I'll add them to your thing. So, oh, and then nope, that's the wrong one. So many handouts.
You love it.
Del
Not
loves
when I
it.
lose track of it all.
Hmm.
There we go.
I'll head back downstairs. I'm clearly not
Okay.
wanted by these two.
So, amongst these, there are 5 spell scrolls, 6 including the Hero's Feast. In addition to that, you have Web at 2nd level, Find Greater Steed at 4th level, Cure Wounds at 5th level, Circle of Power at 5th level, and let's see. I'm going through a random generator for this, and I keep getting like rubbish ones. That'd be interesting. And a scroll of anti-magic field. That's probably too strong for me to give you, but sod it. Let's see what fun you have with that.
So it was 5 scrolls and then feast, right?
5 scrolls and feast.
We gotta go and save our archmages, don't we?
Well, these are going to be useful. That can use them.
Cost a bit. It's a bit
Yeah,
taxing.
these are powerful scrolls. Particularly that anti-magic is the scroll work is so intricate. It like you're looking at it and your mind just starts swimming with like the complicated. By the way, if you can't cast these spells, if you can't automatically cast them spells, they will need an Arcana check for you to successfully cast them.
Oh, looks like it's up to me. I'm just gonna look at them and just note them down. Just keeping over. I am gonna share them with Reservoir though. Just kind of go over and said, these are pretty good. Not bad for a hold, if anything. They are they're not bad. Not terrible for what they gave us. Some of these are worth a small house in the city, but it's okay.
Or religion for the finding greater steed, because it's provided.
Yeah, I would accept that. I would allow that.
Anyways, well, these are good. I'm going to be noting these down, making sure. Do you need more help recovering lore stuff? Muted.
Muted, Dal.
Sorry.
muted.
I was freaking out about the lore stuff. So I was like, yeah, no, whoa, these are more than a small house. Some of these could buy a freaking mint. No,
yes, mansion, literally.
Particularly that one. All right.
Can you cast any of these? Is the question.
I mean, I think as much as I'm annoyed with him right now, Warwick might be better for some of these. I can definitely do the web.
As can I. I'm not so worried about these lower level ones, but this one, this one probably, the last 3.
Well, actually, that one, Circle of Power, I believe, is a paladin. I believe would actually be used, most easily used by Warwick. Correct me if I'm wrong, Lorian. You said that even if it's not normally on our spell list, we can make a check to try and cast it. Correct?
To cast it, yes.
Yeah.
You won't be able to if you have ritual caster, you won't be able to learn it unless it's on your spell.
Yeah, I don't think any. Yeah, no.
And it has to be on your list for you to learn it. But to just cast it.
But to just cast it from the scroll.
But for like for a paladin spell, it would be a religion check, for instance. Or for an arcane spell, it would be an arcana check.
Mm-hmm. I think. Let me. Yeah. So. And then I think the cure wounds. I can do that with my staff. I think it's wise that we spread that over a little bit.
But you cast most of these. I thought you were a wizard.
I can try. I mean, even considering everything, that one, and pointing to the anti-magic field, that's more power than I could even think of possessing at this time.
Fair enough. It is a lot. Well, I will probably hold on to that one then, just to make sure, just in case. So the Circle of Power and the Find Greater Steel, we should probably hand it to that.
Yes.
That guy. Perfect. So I'll go give those to him. Do you want to keep the web?
Sure. Yes, I could. I'm sure that I will find a use for it.
And then Hero's Feast, we can probably just. You keep Hero's Feast, I think. That'd probably be better for you to use. For you to keep away, rather.
Yeah.
Because I don't think you understood what she was saying. So.
No, I don't. And honestly, if used right, that could be really impactful.
Yes, so the responsible one will take it, yeah.
I appreciate that you think of me as such.
I mean, you look responsible now, so it's better. It's fine.
I'll take that as a compliment.
It was. Anyways, I'm basically there's a lot of stuff. I'll be back up here later probably, but I'm gonna go ahead and start working on some things and hand these things over. So I'll see you soon.
Ashe, are you doing all right?
Oh, I'm fine. I'm perfect. Letting all my friends down and making sure that I was being useless and doing. Didn't happen, did happen, and will happen again, maybe, unless I get stronger. So, I know I know I'm being very emotionally distant, but you have to understand that's just the way I am. All right, I'm trying to figure it out in my own way. I'm trying to be more open and honest and nice, and not be such a jerk. But I really want to be. Really, really want to be. But we have enough jerks in our group right now, so it's fine.
Just wanted to check in.
Yes. Are you okay? Is the question.
Oh, nothing happened to me. I'm going to read through these and hopefully get you some summaries.
Perfect.
We can see if we can figure it out together.
Perfect. Reservoir, I appreciate you. All right.
You as well.
Start going downstairs to look for the soldier.
I feel sympathetic that she has to interact with him.
Yeah. Burlock's just on the table right now, just reading one of the books, learning about Zariel, just going. It's very, very quiet.
I'm not even here.
Reservoir. She has improved a lot.
I know.
No, a lot, considering what she was like when she was in Baldur's Gate. She's gone through a lot.
Even just considering what she was like when I first met you all. I mean, she's actually used my name, so that's an impressive jump. Just, once or twice.
I think they've experienced so much loss they don't really want to get attached. And now they're just trying to improve themselves so they don't have to experience that loss anymore.
And they won't. I'll figure out how to help them come around.
For people like her, sometimes it's best to let them come around when they're ready for it. Just be there to talk and listen when they're ready.
They have to know that you're open to that first.
I hope they do know. And goes back to reading their book. Is like,
I'm furiously taking notes. On the books, not on the people.
I can see you doing that on Zoom.
oh, the notes.
Oh, is there anything else people would like to do before we call it for a long rest?
What? Karsh said something in chat, and I'm like, wait, what? Reservoir aged last session?
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
I guess that's something that
notice that.
Ava would. Yeah, Reservoir is back to her actual age, which is 32.
Okay.
You have never seen her that old. She was a little bit younger than that when you first met her.
Thematically, Warwick just walks out of the library and walks past everybody else and walks past Ava and says, I think she's getting grumpy in her old age, and keeps on walking out.
Ava's just hasn't noticed. Ava's just too tired.
And green or still blue?
It totally left. Still blue because it's remove curse to get rid of the blue.
Could have done that, you know.
Boy.
I don't need you to. Reservoir has been blue since she was like 6.
Which was only a couple sessions ago. I'm sorry.
Sometimes you're better at annoying me than Warwick is at annoying Reservoir, and that's saying something.
See, that's all about playing what you know. Playing that instigator.
Power gamer. I would spend some time reading the books, looking around. Actually, can I make a called investigation check, please, Lorian?
Sure. What for?
I would like to do some more research about the hand sign and information about the knife that would have killed my wife.
Yeah, by all means. Roll investigation check. Okay. The hand sign is...
I know the hand sign was from one of the three elder. Yeah.
One of the cult of Baal, I believe it was.
Yeah, but I'm actually looking for more information about the knife, if anything.
The knife.
Because it was made using fell metal, which meant that the soul couldn't transfer over. I think was the law that we rearranged on.
Yeah. So let me just try and find the notes for this.
That's right. It's going to take a while. Not right now.
It won't take too.
Okay.
Long. So yeah. You find readings and notes about hellfire weapons. Weapons fashioned from infernal iron, sourced from the plains of Avernus, traced with veins of hellfire, which are forged in the great forges located in some of the volcanoes of this plain. In particular, you make note how there, of note as well, is a place where many such things are invented. Bell's Forge, which is a place of note that is in the notes you find.
Okay.
And any humanoid killed by a hellfire weapon has its soul funneled into the river Styx.
Okay.
That's what you find.
All right. Thank you for that. Okay. And then I'll spend a little bit more time just tuning to the ring, just looking at it, pretty much just looking at it, imagining my wife, and again, thematically, tuning to the weapon. Or tuning to the ring.
Anything else anyone wants to do?
I do want to find Warwick just to go talk to him just for a little bit of time. Where is he?
Anywhere. Doesn't matter where I am. As I said, last I seen was walking past Ava going,
Yeah.
she's getting angry, like getting cranky in her old age.
I will walk past the room and ask Ava, "Hey, did you see Warwick go by here?"
Yeah, something about Reservoir being old.
It's true. All right. He parked back this way, right?
I don't know. I think so.
All right, thanks. And then I'm gonna go downstairs and just go find this soldier. And then, yeah, once I find him, I'll just kind of look over and say, "Hey,
What's up?
I was just going to say, I was just going to say, thanks for earlier when you know that stuff earlier. I know I pushed it onto you, but thank you. I know it's against your religion or something. It's been very fluid for you. I'm not sure what your religion entails. However, I appreciate you taking the time, or at least trying to help with that ritual thing. I just wanted to, you know. Anyways, so there's some things for you that we found upstairs, and while me and Reservoir can't really use them, they most likely will be good for you. As I just kind of hand him Fine Greater Steed, and then Circle of Power. I think it was those two.
You know, if it's you, I'm still doing the same thing.
I know,
But I
but
would
these...
much rather we don't bring people back and we can save people before they die. So if you're dying, then I'm going to try to make sure you're also alive.
Well,
Even if it means my death.
Yes, self-sacrificial lamb and whatever. It honestly, Warwick, I don't care about religion. I just care about the people that are here. All right? These people's lives have more weight to me than anyone else. So...
Oh my god, we're actually in agreement of something.
Oh my god, amazing. Wow. Anyways, can I have your weapon as well? I'm going to be working on it tonight.
Sorry?
Your weapon, your halberd or whatever.
Oh, magic-y stuff, okay.
Yes,
I thought you
whatever.
were taking a...
No, I'm confiscating it from you, so you have to fight with your fists now, like Ava. No, give it to me, and I will upgrade it.
I've been in a few Brawl Brawls before, but it's much more effective to use weapons. And I'll pass over, yep, no problem.
Thank you.
Don't expect to be attacked in here.
These two scrolls, keep them with you at all times. Make sure they're with you, because me and Reservoir could attempt to use them. For you, you can. Most likely. I don't know what's wrong with you. Anyways, here, just keep these, and just... I know you want to sacrifice yourself. And believe me, I want to see you sacrifice yourself too. However, just understand that... understand that Ava cares about you. And she doesn't want you... Lulu cares about you, and she doesn't want you to die, all right? All right?
It's not about caring, it's about making sure everyone else is safe. That's the only reason why I'm down here. The mission, who cares? But everyone else is focused on the mission, so that's what I'm focused on.
Everyone is safe. Okay?
Until they're not.
Yes, everyone, not else. Everyone. All right. I'll bring this back to you tomorrow morning or whatever. Just get some sleep. Just go back up the stairs. Tick, tick, tick.
Yep. After I've done the research, I'll go and check on Ava and just make sure she's okay, and ask if she needs anything or wants anything from the library.
I'm okay, just really tired. Anything interesting?
Information about the weapon that killed my wife. Information about the Zariel. We're in the middle of religious arguments. Reservoir is Reservoir again.
Okay,
No reservoir before.
Yes, but I'm saying she's back to Reservoir, not Reservoir.
You had a grunge period, and then you had a teeny
Yeah.
bopper like Spice Girls period, and then
Yeah, you've gone from listening from Hanson to Queen.
I'm sorry, I'm too young for that reference.
Oh, God.
which makes it even worse. I got it exact, but yes, it makes it even worse.
Yeah.
Feeling old.
So you feeling okay, Ava?
I should be fine after some rest.
Yeah. I don't want to lose you again. And proceeds to hunker down for the remainder of the night on a chair in that room. Keeping an eye on Ava, as it were.
I'm not going anywhere. I mean,
Nope.
I died and apparently I still came back, so
Well, don't thank us. Thank our holy friend here. They're the one who helped most of all.
yeah. Okay,
then-
I'm going to sleep now.
Okay, and I sleep now as well.
All of you, in your own ways, find a semi-comfortable sleeping arrangement accommodated for you with sort of off bits of blanket that are conjured by Yashtara, and she conjures up some invisible servants to come and sort of provide you with some amenities. Was there something you wanted to say, Del?
I did have one thing that I found that I would like to look into more if I have the time.
Sure.
The Reckoning and the Rift War mentions a battle of lost memories. And if at all possible, I would like to find more information on that.
All right. Roll a investigation check.
I hate it when, like, out of character you realize something and it's like there's no way to justify realizing it in character and you're just sitting here like
Well, I do have a little bit of information about it. Enough that like Reservoir is getting suspicious and like maybe thinks that it's relevant to Lulu, but I'm not sure.
With that 7, you don't find anything.
Yeah, I'll make a note to point it out to the others, however.
So
that's all I had.
With that, you'll find yourselves to rest and sleep off the aches and pains of the ordeals that you've put yourselves through thus far. Ava, your penalty from Raised Dead is reduced to -3 as opposed to 4.
yeah. So what is it? To attack rolls?
Attacks, saving throws, and ability checks.
Oof.
Yeah. It is an ordeal coming back from what you have experienced.
Pretty much everything.
Mm-hmm.
Morning comes, and you are woken not with sounds of knocking or the smell of breakfast, but instead of what rouses you from your slumber is a strange, discordant melody blaring on some god-forsaken trumpet. You're woken, but from outside the tower you hear the sound
Is that the
And-
sound coming from the trumpet, or is that?
You hear that from outside, and you awake, and you're you're all immediately sort of shot awake by this loud alarm which sounds, and
Oh, what's dying?
Sounds like a trumpet or elephant or something.
If we go to a window, can we see?
make a perception check.
Oh,
I'll do the same as
fantastic.
well.
I will
I'm
roll
not
o-
good at those.
I will roll over and try to keep sleeping.
Apparently, I am very good at them.
You peek out a window and you see a war machine. And on top of this war machine, kind of looking up, you see a familiar old woman with a fiendish flesh golem sat somewhat off to the side.
Oh, great. Remember that fortress that we went to? And with Lulu and the scrying and that crazy individual? She's here.
The crazy one or Sister Mad Maggie?
The one that we met.
Mad Maggie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
her sister was the crazy one.
I think it's safe to say that they're both a little unusual.
Oh crap. She might want Bertha back.
I don't know what she wants. Oh,
All
God.
I've got left is the steering wheel after that mess.
I was going to read
Bertha wasn't even the
today.
original, wasn't she?
No,
Oh
Bertha
god,
was the
that's
one
right.
that
At
Bertha
at
was
this
the one
point,
that we stole.
The door upstairs kind of pushes open, and you see kind of a Yashtara kind of think, what in all the outer place is that awful noise?
You can see her out this window. I'll point it out.
Oh, cast me to Nessus. This old woman. Of course she'd be here.
Do you need assistance?
No, she'll be fine. She's not a threat, but she's a bit much.
Maybe we should go down and say hi.
I'll go wake Mordenkainen, by all means.
You guys go and say hi to the crazy woman. I'm gonna just rest up a little bit. Oh, by the way, Warwick, your thing's over there. I left it
Oh,
on the
cool.
table. Yep. It is now enhanced. It is no longer radiant. It is a +2 to your attacks.
Yay, thank you.
Ooh, nice.
I half expected with the animosity that I pick it up and just like it flops now. And it's made, like it's just made of
I
rubber.
made it into a banana
a
peel.
nerf.
The pool noodle now.
Yeah.
It floats in the river.
You need
of
to
soul.
like drink a potion before you use it, and it'll be good.
Yeah, it's just a flat +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls. So you're good.
Ooh, that's nice.
Nice.
I never use the radiant side of things anyway.
Yeah,
It's- it's-
it's all good.
And
So
it was
much-
feared in that last part to use it.
All right.
Ava's
Do
gonna.
we want to go say hi?
I mean, she wasn't that bad last time we saw her.
Yeah.
I think.
I'm gonna go say hi.
Yeah. I'll
Okay.
wake up Lulu. Lulu's probably already awake.
You hear in your head is the kind of the sort of the teacup saucer eyes kind of look up with you and sort of blink the moisture out of them. Huh, you're awake.
Yeah. Good morning.
Morning. I had the weirdest dream.
You and me both?
I'll tell you later. It's not something to worry about first thing in the morning.
Well, I mean,
Glad you-
do you need to like write it down? Because I forget dreams all the time. So
I was on some sort of ferry. He was being steered by a dark-haired woman. She had a sword on her back, a glowing sword. I couldn't see on what was around the river. The banks are too high, but there was a howl. Lots of howls. And they were getting closer. And then I woke up.
Oh.
Maybe just a dream. Hopefully just a dream. Anyway, and she kind of flutters up and hovers in place.
How long does that spell
what was
that they'll...
noise?
Actually, yes. Now that you're awake, let me just and I will tap magic aura on Lulu. Gonna bring that up to 4 days in a row.
Yeah.
I mean,
Alright.
I was gonna say that I had a dream about a giraffe, but it's not as interesting as yours.
Oh,
Oh, what now?
I love Ava so much.
Sorry, a dream about what?
It's this thing called a giraffe. It's like a horse, but with a really long neck.
I mean, I've seen all sorts of weird things. I've seen... Hold on. And you see her furrow her brow and kind of like,
Burlock, do you remember the giraffe?
Burlock just go. Takes a couple seconds. Yeah, I remember the giraffe. Do you remember the zebras? And those jumping rats with like boxing gloves?
Yeah.
They had another rat in their front pouch.
Yeah.
And chased by a cat.
It's a weird place. It was a weird place.
Oh, and
We'll have
those
to take
bears.
you guys there sometime.
And those bears in the trees that drop down.
sounds like Kashara kind of walks by. Sounds like some perverse corner of the Beastlands.
You ain't half wrong. And the leaders don't do nothing.
Let's go out to see Mad Maggie, shall we?
You kind of approach the door. You see a doorway near in the foyer that wasn't there before, which strikes you off guard. It seems to be a door. Actually, no, you wouldn't see that. Never mind, because it's invisible. You proceed through the foyer, which is still in a bit of a state. Like, Y'shtar seems to have cleared it up a little bit with the help of invisible magical help. But you walk past the point and the illusion is triggered once again, which starts this cry out to help. You kind of brush it off and walk outside.
Later, we've done that.
And the door kind of disapparates. And before you kind of see, kind of wandering up the bridge, looking up at the tower, Mad Maggie.
Hello, Maggie!
Oh, well.
How hot it was out here.
Yes,
You
I
have
remember
no idea
your
who
His
we
name
are.
is Warwick.
Warwick! Oh, it's been such a long time. How you been, Warwick?
So you forget their name, so you're not going to get a hug this time.
Ah,
I'm sure it's
You
deliberate.
haven't
though.
lost much.
well, this is a surprise to see you here. I had heard reports that this place was ripe for some excavation, shall we say.
Not anymore.
Oh, just my luck. But then again, here I am to find a different sort of treasure. So perhaps fortune favors me this day after all.
Remember that
Perhaps.
war machine that you lent us? It got
I
eaten.
do.
Well, that one got...
Did.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then we got another one, and
And
then
that-
that one...
blew up,
And then we got another one?
and that got destroyed by some. Yeah, we're out of luck at the moment.
I think...
No, we
Wait,
still have
don't
that
we,
one.
we have the third one. We're on the third
It was
one.
the second one that the dragons tore apart.
Yeah,
that's
it
right.
was Bertha that the dragon tore apart.
Aye, you have been busy. You
But we've been
must
meeting
be
friends.
Caught up. I'd be fascinated to know. And as for the cost of the loan, don't worry about it. You can pay it off someday, I'm sure.
I thought it was a gift
You said
because
it was
we're
a gift.
entertainment
You didn't say anything
I
about a
do
cost.
believe that we
Bye.
paid it off with a few
services
scavengers.
and scavengers.
I-
and-
Yeah.
Yes, my
Mhm.
memory is not what it used to be. Which is actually reminds me why it's serendipitous that I run into you here, as I have made some work on something which should help with that exact little problem. Is there somewhere to sit down and perhaps have some refreshments? Because I don't know about you, but driving as long as you do out in this place does ruin on one's throat. Just the sand, it's awful. I could really use a drink.
Unfortunately, I don't believe it's our place to invite anything, but I do believe one of the keepers of this tower, so to speak, should be joining us quite shortly, and perhaps you will have some sort of idea.
Oh, speak of the devil, or speak of the Ugoloff, and she shall arrive. You star old friend, how the devil are you? Maggie? Well, what are you waiting for? I know I'm not a vampire, but I should at least offer the courtesy of asking to be invited in. Come in. I was waiting for that. And she just kind of brushes past you, wanders in and just kind of like, it just flips up a chair and goes, ah, wonderful. And meanwhile, the flesh golem just kind of past you and just kind of looks down.
New help?
And walks past and just sort of stands behind her chair.
Creepy.
Let's go back inside for air conditioning.
Okay, yeah, let's go back out of the heat.
Now, tell me, now.
Don't forget to sign in first.
First of all-
Where's Alexandru? Is he in here too?
You're not sure.
Okay.
First of all, Tara, I am overjoyed to see you in such good form. Have you been conditioning your fur? My goodness, it's looking shiny and sleek. I had heard of the message you had left, and I was sick with worry that an old acquaintance of mine should be in such a dire straits. But it does what cold blackened heart I have warm to see you so fine and alive.
Does your stars seem to be buying this?
I deliberately walk into the area which will trigger the message.
It triggers, and your star is just
Accidentally,
like,
deliberately.
she immediately like dispels it as soon as it pops up. It's like date 1980, date 134. I'm fine. I'm all right, thank you. I've thanks to this lot, I've come through that quite unscathed. Looks like you arrived just in time to miss out. And you can kind of tell by the way that terse last two words that she didn't necessarily mean miss out on the rescue effort.
Oh yes, Maggie here was coming for reap the rewards of an empty location. Apparently, isn't that right, Maggie?
What on earth are you insinuating, Wally dear?
Exactly
No,
what you were
no.
insinuating outside before.
I said I was looking for excavations. I meant no part of
Looting.
looting. Me? Never.
Yes.
Warwick, I think Yushtara already figured it out.
Let's be honest. Surely we can all be honest, can't we, Maggie?
Tell me, Tara, dear, where is Morty? Where is it? I long to see that old codger. He's so entertaining, you know, with his... He takes himself so seriously. The Archmage is, he's not well. He's had to, use up a clone, so he'll be down later, but he needs to recuperate his energy for the time being, and let's just say your presence is very draining. Ooh, ooh, biting! Ooh, you're saucy this morning, Ishara. I love it.
Love it.
Love conversations between two powerful individuals. They're just beautiful.
This point that now you hear the creak of a door, and what was once an invisible doorway kind of peeks open, and Alexandru peeks out and says, "Am I interrupting something?"
A little bit, but I doubt that you could make this any worse.
Oh, fresh blood. Who are you? My name is Alexandru.
Oh, you're Alexandru!
Oh, several new faces. He kind of beckons over one of you. Is that the
I'll
hag?
go over.
Is that a hag?
Quite possibly.
It's impolite to say.
My name's Maggie, dear, and don't worry, I didn't bite.
Hi, I'm Ava.
Much.
Ava, a pleasure. Is the Archmage coming down at the moment? He kind of like spots the undisguised Arcanloth and
A little later, I think.
So, what brings this fine individual here? Well, I came for the distress call, but not only that, I was in Avernus to find this lot. I am from Candlekeep. We have much to discuss.
Probably not in front of Maggie.
Oh, don't be ridiculous, dear. If this is pertaining to Zarya, then I simply must be present. You must know I'm her biggest fan.
You are
Right.
also a warlord, and
This seems like perhaps a discussion that we all need some time to prepare for. And not everyone who should be present currently is, so...
You're such a bore. Fine. Well, seeing as you don't want me to stick around, I guess I won't tell you about the memory machine I've been working on. Good day.
No,
Kind of gets
please
up.
do. I simply mean that Mordenkainen is not ready yet.
A memory machine?
Oh, so you're interested now? Oh, well, marvelous. Then I must hear all about everything. And she sits back down again.
Perhaps I think I may have been a bit confusing with my phrasing. I simply mean that perhaps we wait for a second and then disclose all of our information when the Archmage can make himself present. I think there's
Very well.
another individual that we're currently waiting on that would do to be present for this conversation as well.
And who would that be? Just out of curiosity.
A friend of ours upstairs.
Tiamat?
No.
Mordenkainen is still out. He's not
In
going to
the
be coming for a
Hollyphant.
while.
Oh, I thought Ashe was asleep.
Oh, yes.
I thought
no,
Ashe was still asleep. I was talking about her.
I opened the door and just like, no, Mordenkainen's knocked out. What are you talking about? He's not going to be here for this. Oh.
And I gesture over to Ashe.
Oh. Hey, Maggie. How you doing?
Hello, little fiery one. What was her name again?
Wally.
Ashe! Good to see you. You're looking haggard. Trust me, from me, that's a compliment.
Okay. This is a large group of people that I do not feel should be in the same room together. Are we discussing business? Or are we discussing pleasure?
Business.
Oh, business.
Don't mind me. Your business is my pleasure. I'm just a captive audience. Tara, would you mind fetching the Archmage? I mean, I know you have spells to just revitalize and re-energize, so why don't you just hurry this up? Because I have places to be, you know. You weren't even invited. You just showed up. Just semantics, dear, semantics.
Showed up to loot, of course.
And she kind of heads upstairs, and there's this prolonged moment of silence as just you all wait, and Maggie
I'm
just
gonna
starts
start tipping more chairs upright.
Yeah, Maggie just starts humming. And
So, how about that heat wave?
it's being
It's
cold.
more of a dry heat.
What are you talking about? We're so near the river.
And
Yeah, I don't think it's safe for swimming at this time of year.
Well, it's not very exciting either to swim here. It's quite the forgettable experience. And
Do you mean
soon
the one
as-
that goes swimming forgets?
Oh, you don't know?
I'm afraid that I don't. Could you explain for me?
Oh, lucky I'd let you know beforehand. No. If you set your toe, if you set even your pinky toe in the rivers of the Styx, you risk your mind being wiped. That's what happens to all souls in the afterlife. You don't remember your past life.
Doesn't sound too bad.
Yes, and then at this point, Kashara perks up. Yeah, that tracks.
That is quite curious.
Is that true for like wherever you end up? Like
River itself, yes. I mean, the river Styx only goes through the lower plains, but it does tax that on anything. There's nothing can escape its, save for the most powerful of archlords.
I meant like when
If you
everyone
go to the
dies.
higher planes.
Yeah.
No. I wouldn't think so, no. Different river up there. No, it's purely for the lower plains down here. I should think so. I'm not so well versed on Celestia and the other river. I forget its name. There is another river. It's like the counterpoint to the Styx, but it's different.
There might be a book
Branch?
upstairs that we could look into, if you're curious about that, Ava.
I guess.
Research is tiresome, though.
It's lovely. And quite helpful.
Yes, you are.
Thinks back to the ridiculous number of notes.
So what's been happening, Maggie? What's been happening on the outside world?
Oh, not much.
Anything between the warlords? Any
A
gossip?
few things, actually.
We have pissed
There's
off a few
new-
of them.
No, there's a new warlord that's making waves out there. No one knows his name, but he's a beast that can call fire from the sky. Sounds exciting, don't you think?
Wouldn't everything be like immune to fire around here?
Well, maybe fire, but explosive fire, maybe not.
So there's something
Heat,
worse
sure,
than fire.
but impact. I mean, you've seen the meteor swarms that fall from the sky, have you not?
Have we?
Have we?
You've seen a few.
I think we've seen it once or twice.
Yeah, you certainly would have done. Just occasionally, the clouds will spit forth just a bowl of molten rock, which just cascades to the ground in a vicious explosion.
We definitely had to
fortunately,
avoid one of those.
you've been you've not been targeted by one of those so far.
The Werebore Warlord, the lycanthrope one.
Oh, Ragga Dragga.
Yeah.
What an asinine name. I suppose suiting for him, he was quite the ass.
Is he recovered
Bore
yet?
and all.
Because we kicked his
Recovered?
butt. Yeah, he's the one that chewed up
Oh, right.
the wagon.
That was you.
We
That's
took
right.
his.
He's serving under. In fact, no, he's serving under this new beastly warlord. That's right. He's a lackey now.
And there was another we didn't come across, but we were directed to attack, but we didn't. But apparently they don't like us.
Oh yeah.
Don't actually remember his name.
That Smiler
But
person.
Smiler was the one
Smiler
which directed us
directed
across
towards
someone.
him.
Hang on.
He's a
Heard
bit
of a Smiler. Rascally fellow.
deceitful.
An Eladrin, right?
Yes.
Yeah, something.
Of the spring season, if I remember correctly.
Not quite all there.
And,
Was very pessimistic.
What did he want of you?
Oh, to help him with some plan or other of his.
He wanted us to attack another warlord so he could steal from them.
Get ourselves into a ridiculous fight.
It wouldn't have been
EB.
now, would it?
Was the
That
Warlord.
sounds remarkably familiar, yes.
Yeah.
Bitter breath. Oh, well. You've quite fortunate then not to incur his wrath. He's a nasty fellow.
Oh no, we probably pissed him off as well because we went to talk to his men who fought us and we beat them and then
Yeah.
they didn't like us talking to them.
We tried
Did
to
you
not
leave any
piss them off.
survivors?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Oh, that's your first mistake, see. Don't leave survivors, because then survivors can tell their superiors, and superiors can enact their vengeance.
Yeah, but we were
And
very
those who
nice to
survived
those
so long down
survivors.
here.
We were very nice to them, and we
perhaps they'll-
tried not to be mean.
Do you recall that being nice is quite
My God, darling, you
impolite
are just
here?
I mean, I've meant to have said this before, but darling, you are so adorable. Your naivety just, revolting. I love it.
Thank you.
Take the compliment.
And we met the plan.
Oh yeah.
The T-Mat.
Oh yeah.
You went there?
Yeah, nice guy.
We weren't-
Well,
Ooh, we don't.
his
go anywhere
bodyguards.
near that place.
Bodyguards are not nice.
Yeah, we didn't really want to go near that place either. So
Would 100% advise against it. 0 out of 10 would not travel there again.
I don't
that's
know.
where we lost.
0
each
out of
other.
10 on
That's where we lost the warlord's war machine.
Yeah.
Give it 0 out of 5 dragons,
I think there was more than
No,
5.
which is
There
which
was
is how
5.
many I
That's
want
near.
of them.
That's near the entrance to Dis, isn't it?
I
what?
don't know. Our map doesn't really work.
God, is it?
Disward. Well, yes. I mean, famously, the Queen of Dragons guards the barrier between the two layers.
Oh.
Right. Oh, lovely. Anyway,
So we've had
No,
an
You do know
eventful
the
few
card.
weeks.
You do know the directionals. I mean, are you sure you're using that map correctly?
not at all.
We pick a direction and we wish that we go there.
And then we end up somewhere else.
Here, show me this map of yours.
I hand
Well,
her the
if you're
map.
going to show and tell, I mean, shouldn't you be doing some showing and telling as well?
I show her the map.
As we're waiting for Mordenkainen, I believe this is all right.
It's been a while since we looked at this
Right.
map.
So,
It's beautiful man.
So we're
Let's show the
currently here. You see the tower? It's marked.
Oh.
So up north, towards the mountains. Well, north was that's Diswood, because it's towards the barrier between Dis, right? And downwards is Counter Diswood. it's the opposite. There's no cardinal directions here. North, south, east, and west don't really exist. So we use the barriers between the planes to, like, tell direction. So up is Diswood, down is anti-Diswood, counter-Diswood, whatever you want to call it.
Down.
Yes, well. And then you're east from here, so towards the river, that is Abysswood, because that towards there lies the barrier between here and the abyss.
And it's
Subsequently, I'll have you guess what the other direction would be.
Non-Abysswood.
Anti-Abysswood, counter-Abysswood.
Yes, precisely.
Bill?
Bissell?
Abyss, yes.
So is
Abyssless.
this the gate to death?
Where are you pointing? I missed that. No. It's beyond Tiamat's lair.
Oh, so it's through there.
I would assume so, yes.
Oh, lovely. Fantastic.
So
I'm
west
doing that
is
myself.
abyssless.
Oh, no, it's... Oh, God.
Left is abyssless.
Or
You can
just
write your
counter
own one in, I'm
abyss
just putting it in.
word.
No. Abyssless.
You can write in your own. I'll delete mine if you want to have a better
Okay.
one. I just put in notes.
Right. And then and this is where she said her sister was, correct?
No, a forest. We just didn't know which forest.
Burn brambles, that would be here. That's
Yeah.
where we found my sister.
And then we've seen this. Have we been here? I think we've been here, right?
I think that was where the monument to the
Yeah,
fallen was.
and the angel, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice angel.
So you have Diswood, Abysswood, and then it's, I believe the word is used is contra dis and contra abyss. There we go. Nice.
Abyssless. I like abyssless better.
Suit yourself. Here, you know what? I do hate seeing you flounder around like fish out of water. So
It is entertaining though.
I have a spare one of these, and she pulls out a small glass spherical thing with a rotating, spinning top inside it. This is a planar compass. It should help you with your navigation.
Ooh.
Oh.
I will take that because
So we don't just use the power of belief to go somewhere. We can actually
Power of belief.
go
No,
somewhere.
what God's damned idiot came up with that stupid
They
idea?
did.
I believe that someone
I think it was a wizard. Don't need
played
a
a
post.
nasty trick.
Whoever did was probably quite foolish. How would you
Was it
think to get
the
anywhere
head?
with something like that?
I can't remember who was it. The head.
It was Phineas, the head.
I actually believe that we met them around
was her.
your domain.
Oh.
The toothless.
Oh, yes, him. You got his tooth back.
Yes.
Yes,
I'll have you guess how many days it stayed in his mouth.
It lasted a day.
Yes,
It
I
did
would say maybe
amazingly.
3 hours. No.
No, well, if that's interesting. Maybe undeath has rotted his brain, whatever's left of it. Anyway, that should help. I have more than enough of those. You know, find them on anyone who knows how to get around this place.
Oh, we found the market too.
Oh,
We
Mahadi.
did, but that travels.
I've
Yes.
not been there in quite some time. I should go there. I've missed his good food.
It's been a while since we've been there too.
Massage.
More.
Time's kind of relative around us at the moment.
Whatever could that mean?
Oh, just mad stuff with magic, unfortunately.
Yeah. If you do go to Muhammad, what's his name again?
Adi.
Bardi, sorry.
Mahadi.
Mahadi. Try the pickled vine blight salad, and I think we had a deep fried miniature giant space hamster.
Ooh.
You remember that?
He's a
I
dwarf.
write
It's all
weird-
about the food.
I write weird notes.
I appreciate how you were like, gotta remember that we had Space Hamster,
Yep.
but not like what the name of the guy was.
No. I remember the important things for a dwarf. And we also gave Warwick the stench cheese.
Just breaking fourth wall. Did you actually play? Did we eat the space hamster before or after you played a space hamster in the
It was before, and
Starfish
it was a rat.
That was nearly a year ago. Like
Anyway.
out of game.
back into the game?
Don't worry, it wasn't Boo.
The eyes.
I doubt wizards would.
Do you want to take a break here? Because we're
Yes, I think so. As this kind of like remarkable small talk comes to its head, you start to hear the footsteps as Yishtara comes downstairs and sat in a chair which is hovering off the ground, wrapped in a very sort of tight robe and looking really emaciated and thin and gaunt. You see Mordenkainen.
Yay.
Well,
I wouldn't say yay. He's the one that killed you.
Well, it was not him. It was a parasite.
It was more him than he is now.
I know what my presence must be like for you, so let's get right down to business and make this quick, shall we? We have much to discuss, and we'll go to break.
And we're only going to discuss in the break. You're not going to hear a thing. No, I'm just kidding.
No, the audience rolls a natural one on their listen check.
So, can we get grim music, please, while we do the break? Stick around for about 10 minutes. We'll be back. I know it's been heavy role playing. We've just come out of a 5D dungeon for 6 episodes where it was a lot of scary and a lot of the combat. So just bear with us,
it's good
please.
to just take a nice chill episode to chat.
Yeah, it's nice to have that
sometimes
relaxation and also a
You
character
gotta
death.
learn information.
Says the person learning the information.
Like we're really progressing the story with all of this shit that we're now figuring out. Like these are important moments.
I figured out something really important out of character, and I can't
I wonder if it's because I
say it.
found this resource.
I can't say anything.
And I really love the coming back to Mad Maggie because she's so cool.
I just have to. Well, before we go to break, I have to give a huge shout out to the Alexandrian. The Alexandrian.net for their remix of Descent to Avernus is a godsend for me running this campaign, and so I want to give them a huge shout out. Go look at them. If you're a player in this game, don't look at the Descent to Avernus stuff. It's full of spoilers.
You just told us to.
But their other his other essays and things on just general game design and dungeon design are really good. His sort of stuff on dungeon design has helped me actually with designing the Firelight dungeon. So, shout out to him.
And he's also remade a few other campaigns as well, including I believe the
Dragon Heist.
Yes, Waterdeep Dragon Heist.
And
That's the one.
He did Dragon Heist and he did Rise of Tiamat.
Yeah.
Which was really needed a remix. So.
Yeah. So go check that out. We'll be back. Stick around about 10 minutes and more info dumps and bits and pieces. Bye.
Yep. Bye.
And we're back. Thanks for sticking around. Just had a little bit of discussion offline about stuff going on and things that we know but we don't know, but we also want to know and can't share because we know them. Is the summary?
Knowledge.
About.
Yeah,
You know,
I can see that.
You got
Player
the
knowledge.
important parts.
Player knowledge, but character doesn't know. But character, like the only one character that does know is the one that doesn't know, etc.
So Ava doesn't know.
Something like that. But we're back. Thanks for sticking around. Shall we get back into it?
Yeah, let's get back into it. Let's do some more lore dumps.
We got
Oh,
more than
heavy
kind in
role-playing.
here. Oh, I'm gonna need another page for my notes.
Just as a warning, if you haven't noticed already from this episode, we do heavy role playing for a while. We haven't had that chance for a while. We do little bits, but this is like a big, nice, heavy one. Like last episode. We'll get to combat sometime. We'll fight Maggie. Or Mordenkainen again.
Scott, let's stop.
We've already fought him
I mean-
once.
He's currently in a wheelchair, so I feel like it's...
And he's like
And it's
not
only him this time. It's not him and the light thing.
okay, but it would
God.
also probably be him and Yshtara.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no.
So let's not murder the allies we need help from.
Okay. So. There is the gathering of people in this Archmage Tower comes together. A collection of eclectic individuals. The party of you five. Mordenkainen, still in the recovery stages of his transferal to a cloned body. Yshtara in her full, undisguised Arcanoloth form. Maggie, who has seemingly just introduced herself to this discussion, and now this new stranger, this Alexandru, who claims to be from Candlekeep. And finally, the central piece to this puzzle, Lulu, whose memories you have been chasing this past week or so in an attempt to understand the story of how Elturel came to fall into this place. Everyone takes their seats. Alexandru is kind of like he has his kind of fingers together and he's kind of just like looking at everyone, kind of his eyes ever moving. Maggie is just relaxed and she's just sort of lounging back, almost lazily. Less like she was in a meeting and more like she was reclining on a hot afternoon in the sun. And Mordenkainen, he kind of, I'm sorry, I should not present myself thusly, and he kind of waves his hand, and a illusion drapes itself across him in such a way that he looks perfectly healthy. And Yshtara just stands there behind him.
Can I just say, like, Ava's, like, got Lulu. Is, like, trying to, like, pet Lulu and comfort.
Yeah.
Is it emotional support Ava or emotional support Hollyfont here?
Little from column A, little from column B.
Which one is which?
Gustera las dos!
Yes.
You came to me first, seeking aid in rescuing this city. I said that I would provide what I could in exchange for your quest, but you have gone truly above and beyond what I asked, in more ways than one. So, I think it is as good a time as any to discuss what we know of this city what we know
Ronnie, what do we got?
might help
Some kind of fire?
in its recovery. But that does not explain why you are here, Mr. Alexandru? Yes, well, as I said before, I'm a little mage Alexandru, little short of an archmage of Candlekeep. I was sent here by Slovakis in order to pass on some relevant information to these fine people here who have risked life and limb for this city. As research has gone on while they have been down here, to ascertain more of the history of this city and what the events surrounding its disappearance. First, I would ask, what is known already? I would... And...
Well, there was a contract, I believe, that...
Yes, we have a copy of the contract used to bring El Terrell down and bind it to hell along with its citizens.
Do you have a copy of this contract?
No, we actually have the contract.
You have...
Yes.
One of the two.
I believe we mentioned it last night when we talked briefly, actually. We do have it, and we have the wording.
There is an element of this which is contradictory. That is partly what led me to be sent down here from Silvara's notes that she took. I don't believe Miss Silvaris mentioned you, Miss...
Oh, Reservoir.
Reservoir.
Good to meet you.
Are you of the city?
I am, yes.
Technically, does that make you local to Avernus now?
I was in Elturel for quite a few years.
How long have you lived? How long did you live in the city?
Oh, about just sort of a decade, I believe.
Right. Well, it would make sense then that you might not have clued on to this. The Solar Insidiator, which is the name for the companion, which is the technical name for the companion that hangs above the city, appeared 50 years ago. Almost exactly. And yet, Thavius Krieg was only High Observer for 13 years.
Did you say 15 years?
50. Therefore, it makes no sense that... It makes not a lick of sense that Thavius would have been the one to sign the city away.
But we met him.
Sorry, how many years ago did you say the companion was turned on?
50.
50.
50. But he's only been in control for, or command, or leadership for 13.
Reservoir, make a history check. You've been in you lived in Elturel enough to warrant this.
But we met him, and he was to blame.
So,
19.
You have a general knowledge of the recent history of the city, which I will add to the law section if you want to confer it.
Thank you. That will
sorry to give you more notes, but
never be.
Hang on, where's the
But
law
that's what,
section?
But that's what you would know as a citizen of El Terrell.
Mm-hmm. Oh.
I'm pretty sure he met the guy though.
Yeah.
And he didn't deny that he did it.
Yeah, he was very adamant that he did it. He's dead now.
There are a
Again,
number of different
that's-
spells to alter memory and insidiate mania and delusion.
Well, the whole place was quite fanatical.
Indeed.
But why?
This is what has been the subject of our research. The history of this event. Might I take a look at the contract that you have?
Well, I'm not going to say
doesn't-
no, but
He doesn't seem to be of ill intent, right?
Make an insight check.
Can I get in on that? Can I get in on that as well?
Yeah, by all means.
Ava's too trusting. She'd just trust him anyway.
Ashe doesn't trust him at all.
It
They're like,
doesn't matter
"Look,
what the role
just
is.
based on the character.
well, I can assume
Well,
that if
this-
you try something funny, the others here will protect.
Of course.
That includes you, Maggie.
I'm just here to watch. I'm just here to
Yeah.
watch.
You're always here
Oh,
for your
get your
own
mind
ideas.
out of the gutter, Wally.
You have
Right.
gutters in Avernus?
Who's what? Who's Wally?
Warwick.
Oh.
Yeah.
He kind of Reservoir. You get the sense that he's not got any ill intentions. He's not going to try anything. But he's withholding information. There's something he's not saying.
I think it's all right to show him.
Okay.
Who had the contract?
Probably.
I think it's been made
We
for the
should-
most part.
We should really put that in the bag of holding.
We did.
Oh,
We did. It's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. We put it in the bag of holding. We had this exact same conversation last time.
That it's
We
been
should really put it in the
referred
bag of holding. Oh yeah, we definitely should. Yeah.
to. So
Yeah.
mark it on the sheet with the bag of holding.
So Ashe would have it.
Yep.
I know I had it
Page.
originally, but yeah.
What do you make of this? And he kind of stands up and brings it over to Mordenkainen. And you see them both sort of, they kind of confer among each other. And
I
there's-
remember someone
Can
mentioning
we
something about
hear
a
them
loophole over
Yeah,
like
make
if we
a-
destroy
make a-
the companion, then,
Yeah,
then
make a perception check.
Yes. It was if, like, it says something along the lines of, so long as the companion's light shines on the city or whatever. So if we theoretically turn off the companion, then the city should be freed.
But
But that might not apply to the residents.
Yeah.
Because of the wording being strange.
Because of the
you hear
book.
them, you hear them conferring, and it's something. It's arcane jargon that you can't make out most of, but you hear the phrase illusion being thrown around a lot, and it's just incredible complexity. It's no wonder that
Wait,
did a remarkable.
but-
Whoever
but
did
if
this was
it's-
a remarkable job of hiding.
wait, if it's like actual name isn't the companion, wouldn't it have had to put that instead of the companion on the contract?
The party known as the companion.
Well,
companions.
It's a thing. It's not a person. It's not like a person signing the contract. I think colloquial terms would theoretically work, unless In theory, if there were something else that could be considered a companion to the city, that shown light could be turned off. You may find a loophole in that way, but I think that would more work in our favor than against us to find some sort of a loophole like that. Theoretically, I think colloquial terms would still work.
As they do, says, "Do you have that capability?" "I might, if I can muster some energy." And you see Mordenkainen kind of pull out a focus of sorts, and he kind of twists it around and casts some sort of spell. It's and you see a sundering of sorts, and the parchment disappears, and in its place, manifesting out in a sort of like as the parchment burns up, a platinum plate broken in half appears in its place.
Well, platinum's worth more than parchment, but
Fascinating disguise. A red herring, if you will.
Great.
Passes it back.
Is there anything on it?
There is.
Ooh.
Written on this platinum plate is the following.
Can someone read that out, please?
What language was it written?
It's written. You look at it's. Actually, it's written in Infernal.
Oh,
I mean,
I mean, it's
I don't
written
think
both.
so.
It's if you read Infernal, you can read Infernal. Otherwise, you read Common.
Ooh.
Oh, so it like appears in whatever language?
No, it's specifically if you can read Infernal, it appears in Infernal. Otherwise, it appears in Common.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. On this, the 15th day of Flamewall, in the 1444th year of the Dale Reckoning, I, Naja Belanti, by my authority as the High Watcher of Helm and the highest surviving mortal authority in the city of Elturel, do swear this oath to pledge my soul in the entire city of Elturel unto the Archduchess Zariel, to be so passed into her custody at the end of 50 years, the latter to be transported to Avernus, and the former to be taken into her service. In exchange for which Zariel, the Archduchess of Avernus and faithful representative of Asmodeus, the Archfiend, Lord of the Night, and Nessus, Supreme Master of the Nine Hells, bestows the gift of the Companion, a solar incinerator, which shall be placed in the sky above Elturel for at least the term of this agreement, and whose light will scourge the undead from the city. She swears further to render whatever aid may be necessary to end High Rider Clav Hikaya's reign of the gift of the Companion, if the gift of the Companion proves insufficient to this task. In consideration and honor of these mutual covenants, we sign in blood upon the day and the year first written above, bound by the laws of the Pact Primeval. Zariel, Archduchess of Avernus, High Watcher, Naja Belandi of Elturel. Oh God.
So you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
Oh God.
See, that one seems to be written a bit better.
It is as I suspected. Fabius was perhaps faithful to Zariel as he claimed, but an illusion behind which the true pact was hidden. Curious. Records speak but nothing of good of Belandi. Seems what she did was of desperation rather than malicious intent. And suddenly, Reservoir, what you know of the history of her assassination a few years later begins to make more sense.
I think Reservoir is just like, sorry, you just shattered her world in approximately like 30 seconds.
Well done.
Just gonna stare at this for a little bit.
Highlighter writer
And
Kalav Who was that?
he ruled Elturel many decades ago.
I would say 50 years ago.
It
Night of the
began
Red
in
Coup.
it began in about 1444. He was a vampire and basically laid siege to the city for 14 days before the companion made rid of him and his fighters. It was a vampire. I don't know if I said that. He was a vampire lord.
And the companion protects against undead.
Yeah.
Okay,
At a
so
cost.
we look at the real contract and see if we can find a loophole like we did the fake one.
Looks pretty solid.
This one's written much better than the other one, I'll say that for sure.
Okay.
If I look over at Icy Infernal, do I see exactly the same as original pact, or is there any like hidden things there?
This one seems to be solid in its simplicity.
Okay, no, I was expecting like there's like a little, you know how devils and people like to put little cliff notes in there, trying to just give them little hints and tips.
No, this one's solid.
All right, cool.
From the look of it for me.
Yeah, you can read Infernal as well.
Oh, no. Wait.
Yeah, because if it's in Infernal, if Zario
Well,
wrote
Yeah,
it,
okay.
It talks
It looks-
about the city, but not about the people who live in it.
Those
This
former. Taken into service.
The entire city.
Is this Naja Balandi
This-
still alive? Or
No.
was she
Oh,
just...
She was
was
killed.
assassinated.
So... her soul is gonna come here then? Or something of the sort? Or...
It's already here. Most certainly. I mean, she pledged her soul and Elturel. Well, I don't know if her soul came here originally, but now that the 50 years have ended, it's passed on to Zariel's custody.
There are other aspects of our research which called up disturbing connections. The Order of the Companion that rose up. I mean, you would have known, Reservoir, how the people were led to venerate the Companion and attribute it not to any specific deity, but as a gift from all and none. And you recall as well unity prayers before public events given in Elturel. Before all, we give thanks to the Companion, whose light gives us the bounty of the fields and shields us from the dark, whose eternal presence is the constant ally against those who would threaten Elturgard. Let all those who stand within its blessing remind that it is a beacon of righteousness which we follow to our greater glory. Those words ring in your head as before any public event were uttered out in prayer. Sanctuaries and public spaces were raised tributes to the Companion. It's Elturel. The belief was encouraged that so as to not cause division between religion, unity meant not ascribing the Companion to any god, so that it meant explicitly giving thanks to the Companion before your god. We hypothesized that this insidious plot was to sever the people of Elturel from their deities. Slowly, subliminally, over time, so that upon its calling into Avernus, the deities would not even be aware that anything were awry, as they would hear no prayers from Elturel.
And that's why you don't follow fanatics.
I'm sorry, do you need... Would it be better to give you some time? I know this must be a lot.
And she sort of just holds her head in her hands. I think I need a breath of air. And I'm gonna stand up and just dip outside really fast.
Ava's gonna get up and follow her. Reservoir?
Continue. If you wish to tell this to her later, then the one missing piece of the puzzle we still lack is the Creed Resolute. There is mention of this pact, this oath that the Knights of Elturel swore to their city, and the names of its knights and devout citizens etched onto this tome.
Isn't that in the city on the Holy Book? I'm sure we've seen that.
Yeah.
Then it is indeed still around.
Well, last we saw.
There are no records, there's no copy of it in our libraries. It was kept a private and sacred text that was not to be disseminated. So we know not the exact wording of its creed, but that information could be very important to making sure as many people could be saved as possible.
So, does that mean we should be going back to the city?
Might not be a bad idea. There's one more thing. You had mentioned Fallister Fisk, if you recall. The gentleman with the goatee and the scimitar.
The charming one which wanted to watch us.
Yes, he mentioned a shield.
I had a shield.
You had stolen out from under you.
Yeah, bastards.
We are looking...
Did the angel get out?
We're looking into its recovery, and we believe that the entity inside may hold more knowledge of this than we had initially believed. Fallister mentioned it was stolen by a fiendish individual, correct? A Cambion, he said.
Yeah, Cambion, like they'll attack, demons, devils, one of the things, yes.
I find there's no coincidence here that this shield was in the presence of the Thalmaras, of the Van Thampas.
Yeah, she wasn't
This
nice.
shield... There's nothing provable, nothing to go off with beyond reasonable doubt. But there is known a shield, the shield of the Hidden One, which has wormed its way through cults and fanatical circles on the Sword Coast for a number of years. I believe finding that shield would reveal a great deal more answers that we might be looking for.
And free the angel from it?
If it is indeed the shield of the hidden lord, then what resides is no angel.
But it told me it was an angel. Why would it lie?
Good thing that shield left a while ago.
And he kind of raises an eyebrow, and Yashtara just kind of goes, "Don't worry, he does this at most inopportune times." Right. No, what we believe, if the shield is indeed the same that we believe it to be, a fiend of great power yet imprisoned. Great power indeed.
So not freeing it.
I would certainly hope not. And a fiend with connections to this conspiracy reaching far back beyond Elturel and Baldur's Gate. And other cities that have disappeared over the years.
So what do you want to do if we find it? What, just throw it in the sticks?
Shield. It would not be... Certainly after we'd gotten the information that we could glean from it, if indeed we could, I would not object to such a course of action. However, the knowledge this thing could hold within might prove invaluable. We will continue our search for it on the material plane, and if you could keep an ear out for rumors of it while you're down here
Maggie?
as well.
Any idea?
Maybe one of the warlords has it, I've heard. Fëanor claims to have come across a fine weapon of late.
Didn't you say someone could call down fire?
Oh, this is a new individual on the scene.
Yeah.
No, we don't even know his name yet.
Well, I never got to really test it
Or
out.
if it's a he at all.
It did tell me I could do things with fire.
That would be curious. If it is indeed what we believe it to be, the shield of the hidden lord, that is a shared connection between its written histories, that it bestowed fire upon its bearer.
Like fire, explosions, etc.
Correct.
So if this thing can call down fire, to the extent that people are afraid even down here when fire is normal, it might have a connection. Especially if someone that's just turned up on the scene and taken a warlord position, which I'm assuming is not a common thing to someone to rise that quickly. From nowhere.
That might actually be a good lead. Yes, I think that would be a good lead.
So we're looking at I don't think the lycanthrope's going to like us anymore. Because we did turn him from a warlord to a... Wow, we stole his... Well, we beat him. And took his... Well, took Bertha from him. Just a thought. Bertha was his war machine.
The question I have... It's all very well finding out the backstory and the history and all the relevant information, but that is the past. We must think to the future. I'm sure we all are aware of the mechanisms of infernal pacts, no? Kind of looks to your group. Or do some people here need a reminder?
They're pretty binding.
They are. They are very binding, but there are methods for them to be unbound. although they are not easy. To break the pact, you need the second half of this, and he gestures towards the platinum plate that some Reservoir is either still holding or given to someone else.
Reservoir left it behind. If there's not a table, would have given it to Ashe, but Reservoir is taking a breather and questioning the past almost decade of her existence.
Yeah, and Ava followed her out.
Talking about this thing, the second part of it.
So do we
Any
need it
infernal-
in this version
any
or in the
infernal
paper version?
contract, Any infernal contract is made in two halves, written on the same material and then broken in two. You hold one copy. I guarantee you Zariel holds the other.
That's going to be
If
hard
not
to
on her-
get.
If not on her person, then perhaps somewhere where she resides and keeps her
Those
things.
floating castle things.
And what? So suppose we go, invade her floating castle, and we go get the other side of the contract. What do we do then? Just
Bring
chuck it
them
down a
together.
hole? Bring them together.
There are methods to destroy them. Dipping in the river Styx, the fires of an ancient dragon.
Oh, so the
Alternatively,
easy part.
that would be the easiest way. Alternatively, you could convince Zariel to null and void the pact of her own accord, should such a thing be possible.
Oh, even
Or
easier.
indeed, kill her, if you
Oh,
fancy yourself strong enough.
The easiest way. I see.
I think we're screwed.
So we have.
And when you say kill her, you Ava, you kind of feel Lulu kind of just tighten a bit.
Ava went out with Reservoir.
Okay, well,
I don't know if Lulu went
Yeah.
with her.
no, Lulu stay behind. She wants to hear everything. You see Lulu kind of bristle at the mention of killing Zariel.
Is that even possible?
I don't think so. I mean, obviously, she's obviously insanely super duper strong, and she will kill us on sight. Obviously. Talking to her? Don't think so. So the plan is we sneak in and get the other piece, or we find out where it is, and
That is...
get it.
Well, that sounds like a fine heist, but I hate to break it to you, but that will simply end the contract. Avernus, Iltra's still here. It's not going to be just instantly transported back. You'll have to do that yourselves. And with those chains pulling it close to the Styx, time's a ticking. I've heard of the Dock of Fallen Cities before.
Yeah, we heard
Nasty
about those.
It's where all of Zariel's projects end up. This happened a couple of times before in my time. The city appears in the sky, and its chains drag it down until it's all submerged in the river Styx. And then when all those people are whisked away, their memory is erased, that's when Zariel swipes them up. No, I'm friends, contractors, step one. To break those chains. City of the Broken Chain. That's what you need.
It feels more like a circus, to be honest.
This is just it's ridiculous. This whole thing might as well be a circus. Step 1, find the contract, destroy it in the river Styx. Step 2, we break those chains. Step 3, we teleport the city up above. Is that what you're saying?
Maybe.
Does anyone have any friends
Step
from above
3,
which we could call on?
Step 3, question mark. Step 4, profit. I don't know.
Does anyone know anyone from above we can call on to help push it above?
Talking celestial, or are you talking to someone in the mortal plane?
I just...
He's talking about
Individuals is
Tiamat
pa-
again.
Individuals is powerful enough magic to transport an entire city
would take a god.
was
goddess.
a remarkable effort. It's begs the question of how it was even done in the first place.
Well, I'm sure Zarya will tell us when we ask her.
Well, if we ask politely.
Politely, yes. Please and thank you.
It's worked before.
Well-
what about the other step of like finding the other book? Do we need that at all?
I
Back in
don't
your
know.
throw?
I don't know the text and the wordings of the book. All I know, all that was written, is that Knights of Elturel speak a pact that binds them to the city.
But wasn't that everybody of the city? You need to
Everyone,
like...
the book lays out, or from what I read, the book lays out rules and regulations and sort of tips for living righteously that
Yeah,
everyone
well, yeah.
is expected to follow. But in terms of the actual oath, it was set aside for all but the highest and the most loyal of knights.
I thought it was everybody in the city that had to swear allegiance under the companion blah 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 blah, as like to live in the city. So
Perhaps.
one of the reasons why I left. Too goody-goody for my standards. Not that I had standards, or still do. But finding the book would be easy. Getting to it would be hard because it's in the city, floating above. I don't suppose you have any giant eagles we can summon and fly. Isn't what wizards do?
I mean, first things first, let's start with something small, right?
Which on this list is small?
There's the contract, there's finding out how to break the chains, finding out where to teleport, or rather move the city up above again. Find the other half of the book. Wait, are the book and the contract the same thing?
The contract.
The
No.
contract is different from the book. The book is about the knights.
Yeah, the contract is in half. The book is whole, I believe.
And
So it's find the other half of the contract and find the book
And find the book.
separately.
the book I believe we like the priestess, the last priestess in the temple had the book from memory. So finding that is not the hard part. That's really easy. Getting to the city, floating above, is the hard part. It was bad enough coming off the city and coming down to the ground level. Or hell level,
think
I should
Without
say.
being seen too.
Oh,
Yeah, we're
right.
gonna be saying we're not subtle.
The flying demons. Yes, I forgot about those.
And that's
Right.
provided that this space is still secure.
Might I offer some words of wisdom? I think you have missed something.
The
I
final
think
part,
you're
profit.
missing. I think you've missed something. You have all the information there, but I'm just waiting for you to figure it out.
They're missing get a good night's rest. I'm not there.
Why? What does Zariel want? Come on.
A back rub?
To be the lord and overruling
Already
ruler of the mortal realm, maybe? I mean, she's the lord of this realm, but maybe not the mortal realm. Maybe she
Yeah.
wants more
Wasn't-
soldiers for her army, is what she wants.
Something that has been hidden from her for years and years and years.
The blade.
Blade.
I I knew.
Lulu?
I see. He's not the dumbest of you after all.
No, I'm not. Thank you, Margaret.
A pleasure. I can vouch there have been many a mercenary scouring this landscape in search of that blasted blade, hired by Zariel herself. She wants that sword. A bargaining chip, perhaps. The city for the sword. An idea.
So step 1, we find the sword. Step 2, we talk to Zariel. Step 3, step 4, we make sure everything goes right. Profit, exactly. So
I mean, you have options, is all I'm saying.
options.
Or you could just storm her flying fortress and take it for yourself. I don't know.
See, there's the Molly of old.
I think, well, that's death. All right, we choose death. Is that Warlord thing going to be a problem? The new one, the shield thing. Is that currently with our situation? Or are we just going to ignore that from now on? The new lycanthrope Warlord.
Well, my thought of the lycanthrope, that was the one we got Bertha from.
Yes.
He's now serving, possibly, who's now got the shield.
The new one, yes.
Yeah.
Possibly.
So if you try to do like any negotiations or try to sneak in or anything like that, I'm pretty sure they'll know. Like he'll know who we are. I mean, who knows? Could have turned a leaf and like is now like willing to talk to us because we did spare his life and let him walk away. But apparently that's an insult. And it's not how things go around here, even though that's what we still do.
I think revenge is the way that people talk down here. So I don't think that would be... Probably kill on sight is our situation with him right now.
But that's not usually our style.
Yes, usually other things try to kill us on sight, and then we fight back.
And
it's
then we
self-defense.
fight back in self-defense.
Yes. Extra steps for killing on sight. Yes. All right. So it's not put into a situation. Can you? I'm going to look over towards Mordenkainen. Can you?
Seems like as you kind of mention him, he kind of like jerks back to attention.
Sorry about boring you with a matter of humanity, but
not just humanity, but the others as well.
Yes, whatever's in the city, the rats, the mice, whatever. Anyways, I think the whole reason why we even went to go get was it the blood of Tiamat? Was for you to scry for us. Can you scry for us?
Yes, certainly I can do that. Who were you hoping to locate?
It's a sword, isn't it?
The sword is blocked from attempts to scry. There's people have been searching for it for a very long time. For centuries and not found it. But I believe you had asked people who might hold information.
Then instead, can you help our little friend here regain her memory instead?
Maggie? What's this about a memory machine?
Yes, well, I mean, after our last little escapade, I was just so curious about what is inside that little head of yours that I started tinkering a little bit.
Of course you did.
Of course I did. It's what I do. I'm a tinkerer. I know you understand. But yes, I've come up with something, though I'm missing a few parts. Which, I have some of my folks looking for it, but a few extra eyes on the ground wouldn't go awry, shall we say.
A fetch quest.
Of a sorts.
Do we get a vehicle this time?
Do
we get a vehicle?
You have your own, don't you?
Is it still there?
What about that horn?
you want my horn? I can give it to you. I have a lot of them. We mass produce them. They're so fun.
Certainly a signature.
Very well, but I need 4 objects of interest. I know potentially the location of 1. The other 3 I'm still looking into. I need a Nirvanan cogbox, which is a piece of complicated machinery from the plane of Mechanus, which, well, if you know your stuff, you'll know is where the modern march comes from, and is where the whole Avernian nonsense about the Asmodeus' trial, that's where all that all took place. Anyway, I've heard signals in modern, the language of the modern things, those weird isochrometric creatures, coming from a volcano, abysswood. Might be worth a look over there. In addition, I need a heartstone, which I used to have my own, but I lost it years and years ago.
Molly, I don't believe you ever had a heart.
No, it was transformed into a heartstone. That's why, you see. But no, that's the prism that, like, focuses the beams and splits it so you can all share in the visions. It's quite clever. I must, I'd try and show it off, but I think I'd bore you half to death. I need sand from the plane of Philigathos, which... but, yeah, I can't imagine you'll be going there. But there is almost certainly a planar incursion somewhere around, I'm sure. And the final component, astral pistons, which are pistons which extrude into the astral plane, maximizing their mechanical output. It's vastly outdated and rarely used, but it's actually works rather well for this machine of mine.
Right. And the only one you've got a hint of is the cogbox is a volcano abyss one.
Correct. I mean, if you're interested, I'll source a way to, like, send a message to you if I ascertain the potential locations of the other 3. But hey, it could be fun. And who knows? It might be the alternative is wandering around trying to find, I don't know, these old Hell Knights, as you mentioned. Or we can just
wandering
skip
around
that
using
entirely.
faith.
Well, no, that's why I gave you the compass, remember?
Yes, that's what I mean. Because that's what we've been doing so far. So, but that then goes towards the idea of getting the sword.
Yes. Either a bargaining chip, a weapon, or just something fun to have.
Well, as you can see, our group has going through some trauma right now and no longer fully in the room.
We will make sure to decide in a bit of time. All of this is so interesting and so amazingly convenient for us, obviously. Very convenient indeed. So it would be great if we had a bit of time to think about it.
By all means. Besides, I'm actually getting kind of bored here. My time is up. I have business to take care with back at Fort Knucklebone. Can't leave those red caps alone for 3 seconds, but hopefully I shall see you around. Do feel free to visit any time, you know where to find me. Especially now you have that compass. It should be a breeze.
Just a note, if you do find out any information about this new warlord, you can find a way of passing it on.
Yes, of course.
Wouldn't want
knows,
to
you
have...
might just run into them.
let's hope not. But I just wouldn't want to have someone usurp your own position by gaining so much power so quickly.
I know better than to join in those fights of power. I just do my own thing. I tinker. I'm everyone's friend. I
Until you're not.
participate here and there. Yeah, well, in that case, then I can get my friends to come and take care of that problem rather quickly.
Just saying, finding information. We'll see what happens. If we run into
let
them,
you
of
know.
course.
But you, Morty, Human, whatever your name is, and my dear old Tara, we must get tea. You know what? When was the last time you went to Mahadi's? I should take you there sometime for old time's sake. We'll have fun. When was the last time you had fun? You look like you've seen better. Well, I'll take your indignant look as my key to go. Thank you all. My offer stands. And I shall see you anon. And she, come on, you lumpish brute. And she turns and the sort of almost skips out the door with the flesh behemoth, the flesh golem sort of lumbering behind her. And as you kind of watch her go, you almost turn back to the conversation and start, and Mordecai's like, right, well, so and
We need one of those.
right,
I was going to
as
say,
I
did she
was-
just leave one behind?
As I was saying, I believe the original request was to offer to scry the location of Zarya's generals, who...
Sword, wasn't it? Wasn't this all to find the sword? We were looking for the sword.
Just find the sword.
The
That
general.
was the original request, but he was like, I can't do that. So I
Yeah.
think this was like the compromise request.
It was the female knight that ran with the sword, right? Was it Haruman? Haruman?
No, Lulu kind of furrows her head. No.
Yale.
Yael. Her name is
Yeah.
Haruman.
Never in the room.
Haruman and Olyanthus. Those were the other two. I remember that much.
Well, we have a few options now anyway. We've gone from having no lead to all these leads, so we just have to work out which one's the best for us.
See, I like Mad Maggie's.
I do not. What do you mean? We know 25% of what are we going to do the other things? We're going to find them in a store somewhere. Someone's having a garage sale outside,
Shit.
and we'll find them just being sold.
She'll give us the information that when she finds out. Once we start going down that path. That's at least what I got from that conversation.
It's a lot of what ifs is the thing.
Everything's what ifs. Heck, we've been going around going by faith on the map instead of by a compass.
You're the first one I think about when I think about faith. So
You actually think about me? Ash, I'm
Yes.
sorry, but there's the two of us. It's not going to work. I think we're just two polar opposites. Like it's just not going to work.
it's not going to work at all. We can't even be friends, unfortunately. I will see you in hell. Once we die
We're
again.
all here.
Oh, look.
I mean, I believe that, if anything, Mordenkainen, we're talking in front of you as if you're not here. However, I'm still going to do it. If Mordenkainen can scry for us, one of the generals of Zario, the one that ran with the sword, maybe then we can try to find that way. If that doesn't work out, then we go to Mad Maggie's plan. If that doesn't work out, we just, go for a swim in the river Styx.
And
That sounds
forget
good.
about everything.
Before we do
I remembered.
And that's why we need a memory machine.
No. the sword was with Yael. I don't know if that would work.
Well,
It's the last person that
Actually-
saw it.
Maybe.
The two people that know stuff are not.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because they keep on
I
working
know.
out.
I'm like, I know other things because of this too.
Yeah,
but
I'm
I'm
just
just
like-
like, get your resident monk and then get
Well,
the person.
how
I'm just like
about-
the different
Res-
things
Res-
that we.
How about we get the rest of our
Reservoir-
party to come with us to talk about
Reservoir would probably know in character, I would say.
This is what
We're
I
not
mean.
in the room.
Together.
Thank
I'm just
Yeah,
gonna say,
Reservoir
how about
You can
is
we
re-enter the
having-
room at any point.
Yes.
I know,
How about we
that's the
cut to
thing.
them?
I think
Yeah, let's. So while they're having this discussion, what's Ava and Reservoir doing?
I've been waiting for the cutaway.
So was I.
Reservoir has sort of gone off and just puts her hand up to stop Ava and just goes maybe 10 feet away and just sits at the base of the tower and like curls up into a small ball and has a quiet little crisis of everything. And just freaks out.
Ava kind of getting the message of not really that Reservoir probably doesn't want to talk. Kind of just sits next to Reservoir. It's like a quiet comfort.
And several minutes go by. You don't need to be here, dear. It's dangerous, especially having just gone through what you did.
It's dangerous for you too, so.
Oh, I can do all sorts of things. Shields and things like that.
You're saying that I can't do cool defensive stuff and protect?
I mean, I'm mainly referring to magic, but...
Yeah. I don't really get magic. It's just...
Oh, it's okay. I hardly do this.
Do you want a hug? Okay.
You might appreciate the fact that it's a little hot out here.
Yeah, that's
It's not
true.
helping.
That is true. Maybe we should have gone upstairs for the cry instead of... And we could at least have an emotional breakdown in comfort.
I thought about that. I think it's somehow more comforting being out here having absolutely nothing to do. I'm fairly sure that if I went upstairs, I would start trying to read literally anything I could get my hands on.
I guess everyone's got their methods of dealing with stuff.
There's no way out of that contract. It's been fulfilled. There's not There's not a loophole.
We can still try. We haven't completely lost hope.
Why would she do that? Why would she encourage us to have faith and love for it?
I
mean, it's just...
I mean, it's better than the alternative.
She took all of us down with her. It's just a city, Ava. We could have left. And yes, that would have still been a loss in its own right. But it would have been rid of the vampires. And it wouldn't have taken us down with it. It wouldn't have brought more people in. I mean, I wasn't born there. I didn't grow up there. I went there for answers.
Answers to what?
Everything? The magic in the world that hates me. Lessons on right and wrong. To find out why the world was as it is. And all of it was I thought it was good. We all did.
Alterel isn't beyond saving. Its people isn't beyond saving.
But why would she do that?
I don't know. Maybe there's something we...
Something we miss?
Maybe it's something we won't ever know.
Do you know how many times I prayed in that city?
Can I assume a lot?
I found my faith there. I found Savras there. And I thought I thought it was meant to be, and what if he never heard not one of us? Because of what that woman did. And every time I have prayed since then, I mean, what am I meant to do?
Keep fighting.
Well, what does it mean? I thought that things were meant to happen. But I found that out in a city built on lies. I've spent my life trying to pursue what was truth, and I decided that that was it. And I was wrong.
Don't know.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, I get the whole world falling apart around you thing.
I've
Is it-
never felt more lost.
Well, I mean,
Good thing we
We
now
were-
have a compass.
yeah, I was gonna say we were following a map of faith before, so is it at this point that Maggie's car drives away?
As we're breaking, well, as I'm breaking down and like crying, laughter, sobs. We should go back. Being here is not going to help figure anything out. More information. We need more information.
I guess, yeah.
And I'll push myself up. Lean against the wall for a moment and wipe at my face. After you.
Reservoir, I promised that I would save Elturel. That includes you.
I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about everyone.
Okay, well,
I mean, I appreciate it, Ava, but Let's get everyone out.
Okay. Let's go back inside. It is very hot out here.
I'll follow Ava in.
Can water genasis evaporate? Is that a thing that might happen?
No, but it's very taxing.
Yeah.
We can breathe underwater. We're not made of water entirely.
Entirely.
We do tend to be better hydrated. Clearer skin, fewer wrinkles.
Okay. We go back inside.
Back inside. Left off at the discussion about the scrying. As Lulu's about to say, if Yal was with the sword and we can't scry on the sword, then
Scry on her.
Who?
Hi.
Yael, the one that had the sword and the vision.
Oh yeah, the Hellrider lady.
The
Yeah,
Hellrider thing,
the-
yes.
The lady that was taken.
Well, no, she was with the sword in like a temple thing.
And the temple
No,
was
she
on
was-
top of her.
Yeah,
sword.
and like the temple got like swallowed up by the ground. It was pretty sick.
Wait,
and then Lulu
Yael, Yael.
Yes.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes, some of us can spell, yes.
Library. Is the door open? Can I run up to the library?
hold on, I'll let you in.
And again,
Are
our
you gonna
party leaves
explain
again.
what you're doing?
Yes.
As you run up, Yashtar almost tries to like keep a pace, and as she kind of like waves a gesture, and the door opens before you.
I'm gonna grab the book that Ashe gave to me to put the pile, the Legend of the
Yeah.
Hellriders. Yeah, Yael, she was taken. She was taken.
She was taken.
She was
She
taken.
was taken.
And I was thinking about this last night. She was taken and
Are you returning?
and yes, I'm coming downstairs. She was taken and Oleanthus wanted her to go, but she stayed. She fought, and when we found her again, and I was thinking, because when they fell, there was the holy water, and I was thinking that was the angel.
Well,
The crying angel.
Wait, we've been there before.
Well, she
when they
fought in, like,
died, they fell, and a spring of holy water sprung up.
Are you telling?
I don't know if it's the angel, but I thought it could
didn't
be.
fall though. That's the thing.
No.
Well,
It was in a battle.
Yael.
There was like demons and like this golden army, and like they were fighting, and then Yael did some like cool stuff with the sword, and then there was like a temple, and then the temple got swallowed up, and the fighting was over.
Ava, can you go into detail about the cool stuff with the sword?
The vision I saw with the first one with Maggie. The Oleanthus was the one who. There was when Zariel turned herself, submitted herself to Asmodeus. Haruman submitted himself willingly, but Oleanthus took his own life, but was brought back as an undead.
The legend says, in the face of the rider's charge, the Legion of Avernus trembled and buckled, but did not break. Oleanthus and Yael perished on the Avernian plains. It is said that where they fell in a final marital embrace, Marshall, sorry. They were married, I think. In a final martial embrace, a spring of holy water sprung up that was poison to the devils of the land.
You note that this is essentially a storybook. What you're reading.
Yeah.
This is the legend as known by people on the material plane of
I mean,
the Hell Riders.
it could very well be wrong or twisted.
So a poisoned lake?
Yeah. Does
No.
that match up anything with what Ava remembers from that one vision she had?
But it could be that the temple
It's
is located
definitely
in a
the
similar
same
place.
name.
Maybe.
It's the same name, but it's not like
It's not the same story. But
Yeah.
some legends hold somewhat of a grain of truth. It could be that the story was twisted to be this, but perhaps, I mean, it could be a location to start.
wait,
A
so-
poisoned lake?
No,
So
a
you're saying-
holy water
No.
fountain.
A spring of holy water that was poisoned to the devils of that land. Doesn't that sound
Wait, so that was
like
where Yael died? I didn't.
both of them?
The only
Yael and
well
who?
of
Oleanthus.
Oleanthus.
the only well of holy
Olanthius.
water.
Olanthius. Do I remember there
crying-
being another person in that vision I had? Because I don't remember. Like, it's not in my notes.
There was the. Well, you were. I think you weren't there for the vision with Maggie because you were away
No,
that
this
week.
was a previous vision.
I know, but I'm saying for that subsequent vision.
No, that
weren't
subsequent
there.
vision was Ava wasn't there.
Yeah, so
I was the only one that failed the thing.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, so you do remember that. So yes, Yael was that individual.
So it was Yael, but I don't have any notes of there being anyone else in that vision that I had.
What you've been able to piece together from, and this is what I'm giving you as a DM. What you've been able to piece together from the visions you've had is that there were 3 generals.
There were 3
Yael
generals.
was one, Oleanthus was another, and Haruman was the third.
Yes, but the vision that Ava had was when Yael was with the sword. There was a battle. The notes I have exactly. A vision of a green field with a golden army, and then a bloody battlefield, and then she sees Lulu with a lady in armor fighting demons? ? Lulu flies away, and the lady causes a temple to appear. The temple was covered over. And then Lulu flew away until she ran into bird people. And then the next thing I have something about Lulu remembering the bird people as Clack and Clang. And then Yael was the woman. She was a Hell Rider.
Yes, she was a Hell Rider.
So I have no notes of there being anyone else with the sword. It was just Yael.
And what about the vision that all of us had
Yeah, I don't think I
when
have notes.
Ava
on that.
was being brought
You weren't
up?
there that day.
No, I was there that day. I just
So that was
failed the checks.
So you think back to that, and that was a sort of a vision of a similar event. Lulu remember flying above, the woman on her back weeping softly, and a vast sea of devils surging in the opposite direction. And the beam of golden light shooting into the air on the converging mass of fiends. And the white, beautiful angelic woman with white blood-stained wings struggling against the mass of devils overwhelming her.
Mm.
That was the vision that Lulu shared upon seeing Ava downed.
I'm definitely more inclined to believe the visions. But I mean, if there's
Okay, so
place,
The only place that has a spring or font or whatever of holy water was the crying angel.
exactly,
So-
yes,
well,
So he's saying that is
so
the
a
temple?
place to start. Maybe I don't know for sure. But if it's mentioned here, and we know that we're looking for a place,
so the vision that you guys had, because it was from Lulu's perspective, and Lulu was already leaving? Wait, so what does the book say exactly? That's where I'm getting confused.
Okay.
The crying lady's
So-
not that far from here.
The book says that basically Olanthus was off on his own doing a thing for Elturel. A devil came to Elturel, basically flirted with Lady Yael, stole her away. Olanthus returned, was like, oh, no, you don't. Followed the devil into hell. There was a battle, and the riders of Elturel were successful in retrieving the lady. They fought. They defeated one of the fabled blood legions and reunited Yael with Olanthus. But as they were on their way back to Elturel to leave hell, there was sort of another group of fiends. They thought, well, the only way for some of us to get back to Elturel was to set off another group and basically split up, distract them, and allow the others to go through. Olanthus and Yael were a part of the volunteers to take on the larger legion,
I remember something.
and they didn't succeed.
So
Another name.
Another name?
Janda.
Jando. So in the Maggie vision,
Janda Sunstar. He was one of the ones that went back to Elturel. But he led the ones that escaped, but it was an abandonment. It wasn't an escape, it was a betrayal. They left them to die.
hang on. So in the Maggie vision, I'll call it for now. So you saw Zael, or who we're assuming is Zael.
Zariel, yeah.
Not Zariel. Yael.
Yael.
You saw Yael.
Yael wasn't in the Maggie vision. That's why you're getting confused. Yael wasn't in that vision.
Oh.
That was a different vision.
That's a different vision entirely.
Yeah, that was Zariel agreeing to serve as Asmodeus, and Haruman and Olianthus, the two other generals, joining her, one willingly, one unwillingly.
Okay, so that is 100% where I'm getting confused. But then when Yael, who was the other person? Yael and someone else got left behind. Olianthus. Then where was Olianthus when Yael was fighting? What happened to Olianthus?
Toilet?
I mean, the legend says that he perished. And in one of the other visions, he was the one that was unwilling to turn to Zariel's side, was killed and then brought back, correct?
But
yes,
he was.
Haruman went willingly. He would not betray his love.
So according to that book, he was with Yael.
I mean, the legend. It's a legend. It's a story. There are some elements of truth. But I mean, as Lulu says, this frames it as a sacrifice for an escape. Apparently the truth was the betrayal. Because why should any of Elturel's history be true? As we know it.
Okay, so I'm confused. We need to write down a sequence of events because I'm just like, wait.
The most important thing is that we find where Yael went. She was the last one seen with the sword. And find where she fell. And in this legend, it's where the holy water sprouted. Although there are inconsistencies.
There was like a temple, like I said.
You're right.
Yael made a temple, and then the temple got swallowed up.
I suppose what I was suggesting earlier was that it's possible that the angel is on top of the temple from where it was swallowed up. But so much of this is wrong. It might not be. It's just some place to start.
I wouldn't mind going back to the Angel because it's a nice, peaceful place. Endangered, but a nice, peaceful place.
Okay. So, well, but going back to like the scrying thing, couldn't we try and like scry for like either like the temple or Yael?
Temple would be non-specific, I would guess.
Typically, you
But a
can
person.
only scry on a location if you know it. A
I know the
person,
location. Well, I've seen
I think would have to be alive.
I've I've technically seen the temple through a vision.
So what? We pull that memory out of your head?
But it's
Technically,
possible that
Wait,
you would
was-
only see the temple wherever it is. Being underground, you may just see sand, not.
wouldn't the same be true
necessarily zoomed
if we
out
tried
for
to
some.
sky Yael?
That's at least
Very
a specific
possibly.
person, though.
Well, because Yael's in the temple. You would just see Yael
Yeah.
like in the temple,
Then
probably.
you zoom out, don't you?
No.
I don't know. Can you zoom out in scrying? Turn to
I like
modern
that
Kynan.
his scrying's just like Google Maps.
Is that a thing you can do? Zoom and
No.
enhance.
It's what my goblin does. Zooms all the way out and goes back in.
It's like, oh my gosh, you can see my house.
Shall we wrap up?
I
Oh,
will
it is.
offer you 2 more leads, if you will, that
More?
you may pursue at your leisure.
Okay.
Here are these names being thrown backwards and forwards. And I know of a place called Haruman's Hill. If you search for that, it might hold some answers. And in addition, there is a crypt to the Hell Riders somewhere out there as well. Perhaps either of those will find some answers you seek.
Lots and lots of options. Where should we die? I choose this place.
Well, we can always go and try to uncover more memories by doing those things for Mad Maggie as well. Our map shows, she mentioned a volcano, and our map does have a volcano in the direction, in the Abyss Wood. It's on the other side of the sticks, though.
If
The crying angel is not that far from here.
As you
What?
ponder
trying
the
to-
options and consider what the next best course of action might be, I think we're going to end it for here today. So
Yeah.
you can deliberate over the week, because
I'm gonna have to.
I have using the my own homebrew as a buffer zone to prepare and wait for more stuff to be published. I've just turned the railroad into something very open-ended, so you're going to have some time to adjust.
Yay!
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
and you've got time
Yeah.
to write, to convert across.
I'm gonna have to like look at some old VODs real quick just so I can remember details because it's been a hot minute.
Don't forget to like, subscribe, and tick
Yeah,
that.
I'll do it. I'll do
and
it on the
tick that
YouTube.
hmm
Yeah.
So this has been a very heavy RP, very emotional RP, especially for, again, Dell. This seems to be you're not picked on, it's just, this is what's happening with both Circus
I mean,
and...
Yeah.
It's kind of the circumstance of you being just a citizen of this city.
Yeah. No, oh God, there's a lot. going on right now, and especially after that conversation with Warwick. I don't notice if I don't know if you noticed, but like she mentioned phrases in her conversation with Ava that somewhat mirrored that, because like it was in her head. Like now she's like, well, fuck, I was wrong, you know, and is not sure about a lot of those. I mean, there is never a lack of thinking to do after Wednesdays, and that is
I will say also the difference in, as I said, I'm transferring this. I mentioned this before break, but in case people are just missed that, I'm transferring the pre-written campaign. I'd already was using a bit of a DM's Guild publication to make it a bit more open-ended, but it was still very railroady and fetch questy. I've now been working on transitioning it over to a complete remix of the entire campaign, which unfortunately is full of a bit of inconsistencies between versions, because they fixed a lot of plot holes. Yeah, they fixed a lot of plot holes in the original. They fixed a lot of things, so there's a little bit of things have changed.
Today,
new information. Some information was incorrect, so let's all pass this and let's try and decode it a little bit.
Yeah,
because it is more about the remix is more about let's figure out the mystery, as opposed to let's go here and get this. Let's go here and get this. Go over here to get this for this person, which is a bit.
Yeah. So today was the retcon. But
it was.
I'm loving the mystery.
I try to keep it in universe. With
intellectually intensive.
With the Fabius Creed contract being different and everything.
Yeah. That's so demon though. Yeah. Having the real contract, having the fake contract, hiring the real contract. I love it.
But it's also like a divergence from the pre-written to a different version of it, and that's so this episode is that divergence.
Exactly.
Which is kind of the law.
There was a lot of setup I needed to do.
Yeah.
But as I said, there are now theoretically you don't need to get the sword. That's an option you have.
I was very much insistent. We need to get the sword. We need to get the sword. We don't have to.
You did in the original. Now
that's the fetch.
Now there certainly would be a good thing to get, but you don't need to. You could just find the pack.
Oh look, I get another sword.
I feel like
or go through the memories.
Or find some other way to kill Zariel. I don't know.
I feel like there's a lot of puzzle pieces that have been placed in front of us, and we're like scampering to find a way that they fit together.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
And you don't even have them all yet. You don't have all the puzzle pieces yet.
And we're using old puzzle pieces which didn't fit with the new direction of the campaign, which we need to try to adjust to as well.
A two-sided puzzle where like some of them are flipped over to one side, some of them are flipped over to the other, and we're like, is this
wow, you could do a dungeon like that. That'd be awesome. Where you walk into a room and it could be the same room and you flip it over and walk in and it's a different room.
Yeah.
Basically,
I think it's also like
just made his dungeon into the rest of this game.
Out of character, I'm just like, but we went all the way to the dragons so that we could get the thing, so we could get the sword.
Oh, don't worry, I'm calling that favor.
And then we did a bigger favor.
Happen.
Ava went through that trauma.
It helps her character's growth.
It's okay. We all needed to have a little bit of trauma.
It's just some spice.
All the characters need to have some trauma. We need to share the trauma baton.
I can just imagine Lorian
it's Reservoir's turn.
With a giant thing of of drama, just go like sprinkles like Salt Bay with drama.
Oh no! My trauma was trying to run the original campaign.
Oh, okay, good point.
Not that the original campaign was written badly, but let's be honest.
Oh no! We're fully established ourselves as a Pathfinder focused channel. So I feel more comfortable of saying.
Have we?
I mean, we're still playing this campaign because we like these characters, and this is the story of this campaign is great. I love the story. Oh my god, they've messed up so badly with the design.
So
I can't.
He just leaves.
It
I
has-
can't.
Yeah.
It's there's
As the
there's like 27 writers
yeah. As
all who had
the
like different ideas.
as the owner of the channel, we're not locked into just doing Pathfinder games.
No.
The focus of the channel is to explore lots of variety of different games, not just the one which has 90% of the market and 100% of the marketing campaigns.
I'm not going to vent on stream.
That's my
I will
focus.
vent off stream.
Yeah.
But
Maybe.
I will vent on
this
stream,
remix
but
has
not
given me
right now.
plenty to think about.
Save it for off stream.
I did want to note something. A word was dropped. I don't know if it was name or something. I don't know what it's linked to. But I had to look it up because I've never heard that word before. Is there a reason why it means salty? Del?
What?
One of the words you dropped. One of the names you dropped. I don't know if, but the name also in one of the synonyms is salty.
What
Which
was the
name?
name?
Starts with S. I don't know if there was something to do with
Yeah.
Elturel that you mentioned.
You have to be more specific.
There's a lot of names got mentioned.
There's
No,
a lot of
no.
names.
About your
Remember.
background.
Oh. I don't think you heard it right.
Okay, could have been mistyping then.
Reservoir worshipped. I don't know where she stands on that. Sabras, who is the god of divination and
Okay.
fate.
Operas?
I typed in a name which wasn't that, which also came up as one of the synonyms of that name was salty. It's like salty
Yeah.
and reservoir, that kind of works. But okay.
Anyway,
different.
we should.
It's SAVRAS.
let's do the outros. Emi.
Hi, I'm Emi Rabbit, but you guys can call me Emi, and I've been playing Ava, the human monk. And yeah, lots of things are happening. I keep leaving the room when people are talking about stuff. And it's like partially like I'm just sitting here like, yes. I'm just gonna sit here with all my ideas of possible plot points by myself.
Yep.
I'm
Yep.
sorry, you didn't have to follow me. Reservoir
I
can
wanted to
stay
be
there alone.
I wanted to support you as a friend, okay?
Both of you did it.
Ava's not gonna leave Reservoir to go sit outside and cry by herself.
So don't separate the party in combat or in RP.
But yes, you can find me over
I
on Twitch.
legitimately couldn't see you.
It's fine. It's fine. You can find me over on twitch.tv/gatheringernerds, where we play lots of different video games. We play Minecraft. We do all sorts of things over there. But you can also find me on twitch.tv/Emi_Rabbit, where I just play Minecraft. I just do whatever the hell I feel like whenever I have time. So that's me.
MLB.
Hi, MrLiveProducer. I have been playing your Dwarven Barbarian Ranger Burlock Ungard, and that was a fun episode. It's nice that you have 2 RP episodes in a row. And you can usually catch me at twitch.tv/MrLiveProducer, where I usually do VR content or video production content or getting prepped for Call of Cthulhu, which is on every Wednesday morning, Tuesday night time here on this channel.
Okay. Will?
Yes, hey everybody, I'm Will. I play Ashe, and I hope everyone enjoyed today's episode. A lot of roller coaster of emotions. Everyone is buckling in for the feels train. So a lot of people are going in, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. We have so many options now. We have to deliberate, and hopefully we all agree on a very simple solution, which is which is what we're going to deliberate on. So yeah.
Which is what, Will? What are you determining our entire party is going to do right now?
We will decide in the future episode, so I don't have any responsibility. So yeah, remember to like, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Yeah.
And we're not in one. Yeah. And Ashe even apologized. Oh my god. Almost a heart to heart.
Character growth.
only took 40 episodes of character development.
Ash initiated a hug.
I know.
Del, it's up to you. Yeah.
And I just want to say a warm hug.
As
So,
well as one Genasi evolves, the other has to devolve. Those are the rules. Hi everyone, I'm Del. I've been playing Reservoir, the Water Genasi sorcerer, who has decided that here's the thing: you can't cry if you're reading a book because then you can't read because you can't see. So the solution is just to read the books because then you can't cry and then everything is okay.
solution audiobook.
I don't think audiobooks exist in this, or if they do, Reservoir doesn't know how to access them
It's
and
called a
is
bard.
not going to try because this is the only thing keeping her vaguely sane. Oh God, I don't even know what to do. Which is sometimes the best feeling in D&D. You can't find me anywhere.
And don't if you can.
I'm unperceivable.
She's hiding. She's hiding. But whoever finds her gets 5 free gift subs. So yeah.
No one find me.
You get lawsuits against you and charges. Lorian.
Hi, I am the incredibly toasty Lorian Ross. You can find me on Twitter, SoundCloud, Spotify, Apple Music, all your stuff at Lorian Ross or Lorian_Ross. I'm doing music making streams. I've been working on an anime as fuck song. It's great. I'm loving it. I've just written the melody for the chorus, and my god, it is a hook and a half. I'm really excited for this one. I've not had this much fun making a song in a good long while. And yeah, other than that, I'll be around here doing DMing this or playing as Kip for our Circus of the Broken Chain.
Wrong name.
And
Wrong name.
Chain of the Broken Circus.
You
Nope,
said Kip.
Assy.
No.
Wait, what did I say?
You said
You said Kip.
You said Kip.
Oh shit!
That's a flashback and a half.
That is wow. Okay, yeah, that is a flashback and a half. It's because what it is because I imported Kip into the games to like test dynamic lighting. So that's yeah. Anyway, I'll be playing Azzy, and yeah, see you next week for more RP. Very excited.
Hi, my name is Karsh Goblin. Well, thank you for everyone coming in. You'll be seeing a few Let's Plays on the channel for the next few days. There's something about Twitch that's pretty much what I'm going to be doing. We're getting closer and closer for a City Mist launch on YouTube. Probably not. It's not going to be this coming week. It's most likely going to be the week after. But we have lots of stuff going on the channel. Lots of stuff going behind the scenes. This is our new overlay. Hopefully everyone enjoys it. It's been a lot of work, not just for me, but this has been a mega amount of work from MrLiveProducer, and I've just spent a lot of work reskinning it for this version, like for this campaign. But we've also got the alerts, the triggers, when we do have the follows and everything happening, so that's also a big thing which we've been working on, and there's more things coming. There's announcements coming if things go ahead. Still waiting on confirmations for certain things.
Exciting things.
But yeah, hopefully things are going to be interesting. And next week we're going to have Circus, which is always good fun. And that's ramping up too because, yeah, we don't think we're going to have as much feels in that episode in the one coming up. As a little bit of a warning heads up, but it's always great. This has been great fun. And, yep.
I don't know if we'll be able to get away with this because it's a bit. This is the name of a song, but losing my religion for an episode.
Well, there was a lot of suggestions. Crisis of Faith was certainly one of them, and certainly up there.
That's a good one. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah, I like Divergence, but as we are diverging the
Divergence is
campaign
also good.
from the original,
Divergence of Faith.
that works too.
I think Divergence of campaign.
Or just Warwick wins.
No.
There's a word on the tip of my tongue. I'll figure it out and I'll send you my my vote.
You got about 3 hours before it gets on. You got about 4 hours before it's rendered or edited, rendered, and uploaded to YouTube.
But it
The
does go
first
live
thing
for
I
another 24
do
hours. So you can change the title.
once we're gone is try and figure out the word that I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's all good. But we're going to be raiding Nat 20 Productions. We've raided them before. Send them our love. We'll do the message now because that should, as they test, start the trigger, which of course it didn't. But we'll be back soon next week. So yeah. Thank you, everybody.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.